Alright, you and I are diving into a brand new manhwa, with insane art from the creator of Way to be the Evil Emperor. Tonight marks the final stand between humanity and the demon race. 5 legendary heroes clash with the Demon King, Sumulus. Light explodes across the Moon Beast's back as the war finally ends. The Demon King is dead, but the heroes paid a devastating price. Fortress Commander Faye looks on while the Nightmare whispers a name, his voice heavy with exhaustion. Gron is desperately using healing magic on the wounds of the saint, Sophie. She tells him to stop, knowing it is useless. The Demon King's final strike was fatal. Even the best magic cannot save her now. Gron is drained, his mana empty. When the others tell him to give up, he just screams for them to shut up. Sophie touches his face, telling him to stop trying. A single tear falls as she says she is content with this ending. Faye steps forward, heartbroken. They won, but the promise was that all 5 of them would return home together. Suddenly, the Demon King's voice echoes. Ron, just like she said, this is the end for you. Now pay attention, because this is where the victory turns into a nightmare. The Demon King confirms he is still here. Faye gasps, realizing her own body is covered in the Demon King's flesh. Merovius realizes they were played. Anyone who kills the Demon King becomes his new vessel. That is his true power. The left side of Gron's body begins to mutate. Sumulus laughs, calling this evolution rather than just assimilation. He reaches toward the moon with a smug grin. Since they defeated him, they have earned the right to become his new bodies. He plans to use them to wipe all life from the world. Sumulus glares at him. Especially you, Gron, the body of the strongest human who ever lived. Merovius struggles to speak. Ron, I would rather die by your hand than become a tool for his slaughter. The demon's voice whispers in Gron's head. Do not do it. Do not murder your only remaining family. Merovius begs him to hurry. He cannot hold out much longer against the corruption inside him. Do not let history repeat itself. Ron points his blade at his friend. Merovius asks why the sword is shaking. Is he unable to strike? Ron remains silent, eyes cold. Sumulus mocks him. Resistance is futile. Half of your body is already under my control. Ron smiles faintly, relieved it is not weakness. Then, without a second thought, he drives the sword through his comrade. You feel that too, right? The sheer weight of a choice that changes everything. Only someone as heartless as Ron could do this. Merovius whispers his final words. Their talent, mountain of corpses and sea of blood, grows stronger with every kill. Faye screams out for Gron to stop his blade, but she knows the truth. Do not let his sacrifice be in vain. She entrusts her life and her sisters to him. His eyes turn blood red. As each companion falls, more scars of blood appear on Gron's face. Sumulus laughs. Why do this? 3 lives just to reclaim 1 arm? It is a pathetic trade. Gron stares at the sword in his hand. To solve this problem, 1 arm is more than enough. Sumulus is confused as Gron aims at himself. The demon lunges forward, shouting for him to stop testing his patience. The holy sword X, law shatters. Sumulus brags that nothing in this world can pierce his invincible shell now. Then his face freezes. Gron looks up with dark eyes. That sword was not the only solution. He plunges his hand into his own chest. If I cannot kill you, I will kill myself. He crushes his own heart. Time slows as dawn breaks and Sumulus begins to fade. I underestimated you, Sumulus admits. A man born for slaughter, dying for it. They vanish together. Is this my end? The demons are not gone, and I could not save a single person I loved. Gron stands alone in a sea of red. Pure emptiness. Let's fast forward 5 years and see what kind of world was left behind. Demons are still whispering of their king. You idiot! Do you really not know what we are doing tonight? The monsters whispered together. The boss said to kidnap 4 human girls and 1 demon for the ritual. Shut up and get back to your squad. Tonight is the 5-year anniversary of the Demon King's fall. A mantis demon stands over the captives. Demon King, you created us. Now, we bring you back. All right. You and I are diving into a story where the world's greatest demon slayer wakes up as his own worst enemy. The ritual begins. Kill the first 4. 1 swift strike decapitates the prisoners. The perfect, pure sacrifices for their lord. Vile insects scramble for the blood as Gron hangs there, pinned by his hands. He slowly opens his eyes, wondering where on earth he is. Gron wakes up to see green legs standing over him. Wait, didn't he just die? Suddenly, a mantis demon kicks him hard across the face. Don't move, you piece of trash. You're the weakest in the tribe. You don't even deserve a name. Gron's eyes narrow as the demon swings again, telling him that being a sacrifice is the greatest honor a lowlife could ever have. Gron spots a sharp claw closing in. He times it perfectly, letting the blade sever his own arm right at the joint. The mantis screams at him for ruining the ritual, but Gron lands smoothly on his feet. The demon froze in total shock. Wait, did he do that on purpose? Gron's face is ice cold. Low-level demon, do you really not recognize who I am? The mantis starts sweating, stammering out a confused question. Who are you? But Gron is already moving toward him like a phantom. A mantis demon hangs off a ship's side, watching the waves until a hand suddenly tosses him away. Quit daydreaming and climb, rookie. The four lords are watching, so work harder. It's the year 312. Demons are using the land for cover to launch a massive naval ambush. Naji the Silent Demon King, Medinius the Warlord Demon King, and Kalisa of the Barren Lands. It was a surprise attack, but one human arrived just in time to stop the entire fleet. Now pay attention here, this is the man who single-handedly broke the demon army. The High Priest, the legendary Professor, and Demon Slayer. Ron, the Eternal Demon King too, gives the order to attack. In the present, Gron grips his sword with a deadly focus. Much later, the mantis demon's whimpering fills the air. They're all dead. Everyone except Lord 2 was slaughtered. Malinicus the Warlord is dead. The Tyrant Banian stayed home. Kalisa is dead, and Naji is dead too. Only the Eternal Demon King managed to escape that bloodbath alive. Lightning flashes, revealing Gron standing in the rain. To the mantis, he looks like a devil. Gron reaches out and snaps its neck instantly. The joints of an insect demon are their biggest weakness. Apply pressure at the exact right angle, and they fall apart like toys. He thinks to himself, am I really reborn? The skill Mountain of Corpses and Sea of Blood is back at level 1. The remaining demons rush him, screaming for his head. Ron grabs the mantis's severed claw and mows them all down in one sweep. The mark on his hand shifts, making him frown. These demons are too weak. Killing 9 of them barely increased his power at all. He needs to reach level 9 of the Mountain of Corpses and Sea of Blood. The talent is simple. Every time he takes a life, he grows permanently stronger. The more powerful the victim, the bigger the boost. A centipede demon tries to bolt in terror, but it doesn't get far before Ron pins its tail. It screams in pain, begging for its life. Ron covers the victims with cloth, showing a shred of humanity, before picking up a piece of iron shoulder armor. Ron tries to use a healing spell on his missing arm, but his blood turns into writhing snakes. What is happening to his body? As the snakes merge into a new hand, Ron starts shaking. No, this can't be real. He collapses into the mud, absolutely broken. Let that sink in for a second. He didn't just revive. The greatest demon hunter has reincarnated into a demon's body. He clutches his head in pure agony and shame. This wretched, low-class race, it's everything he used to hate. Except for the ones I've killed, this entire race is worthless. Suddenly, he doubles over and vomits in total disgust. The centipede demon still has some fight left. Don't think that having your big brother's arm makes you special, kid. I'm going to kill you slowly. I'll make sure you suffer for hours. I want to hear you scream like a pathetic human. Do you hear me, you weakling? But Ron just stays silent. He looks down at his new form, still trying to process his reality. Meanwhile, the monster is too stupid to feel the danger. The centipede realizes something is wrong. The air feels different. Ron decides he needs to be a bit more terrifying to scare it. Suddenly, Gron's blade tears through the centipede, splitting it in half. He stands there, laughing under a literal rain of demon blood. He can still massacre demons. What else does he need? Gron's eyes glow with a dark, satisfied smile. Looking at the mountain waterfall, he recalls hearing it's been 5 years since he and the Demon Emperor both fell. He checks his surroundings. He needs to find a place to hide and figure out exactly what happened to the world while he was dead. Then, he spots a massive skull. It's the head of the great mountain ape he once fought. This was the very field where they clashed. Now, demons have built a fortress right inside the giant's hollow mouth. You and I just saw a legendary revenge begin. It's about to get wild. The journey through the Skeleton Mountains has begun. All right, you and I are starting with Ron finding a hidden cave. It is a place from his past, and it seems his memories have not failed him yet. He checks the interior and finds no signs of demon activity. For a secret hideout, this spot should work out perfectly for him. A moment later, a fire flickers to life. Gron sits in deep thought, his brow furrowed as he grips a small figurine, and his past starts coming back. Little sister, be careful, do not fall. Elder brother Gron, is this outfit at least keeping you a bit cooler in this heat? He remembers being unhappy with his new clothes. Was Feiwai's sewing really this bad? She just acted like it was the most natural thing ever. Resources were limited, so they had to use what was available. In the end, Gron was forced to wear a dress made of straw and leaves. Everyone laughed at him back then, and he remembers being furious. But now, thinking back on it, a small smile actually starts to form. He gently touches the figurine of Fei Wai before placing her on a table. He has carvings of other people sitting there as well. Sadness flashes across his face. If only I could have done better back then. Gron's eyes are filled with a deep, heavy regret. Then, he tosses his own figurine into the fire. As it burns, Ron reflects on everything that has happened to him recently. In the last 5 years, I wonder how many young people have had their lives destroyed by demons, just like I did. Since I am a demon now, I can use this body to find a way to destroy them from the inside. But these memories are painful. Kill or be killed, who cares who gets to eat? The strong are respected, and that is simply how the demon race survives. This weak bloodsnake demon obviously suffered plenty of abuse. A lowly slave from the Mount Yuan region, treated like absolute garbage. Gron is surprised to see his past as a farmer. Next, the Red Demon instructor begins his lecture. That is enough for today's lesson. We will cover the global situation tomorrow. A student kicks his legs up arrogantly. Teacher, is it just going to be more boring theory? None of us can wait for the combat practice. Gron's eyes turn sharp as he watches this display of demon education. He stands up. These demons are just war machines created by the Demon Emperor, with nothing but the urge to kill in their nature. But look at this, in just 5 years. They built a civilization. Trust me, you and I are witnessing something very dangerous. Sunlight breaks through the clouds. Even though he does not know the cause, he knows one thing for sure. All of this happened because he was not strong enough at the start. He was not powerful enough to solve the problems. Ron makes a silent vow. In this life, I will become stronger than ever before. I will risk everything to fulfill my oath and wipe them out. Location confirmed: Recruit Training Camp Number 2 in Mount Tan. The Red Demon bangs his ruler against the chalkboard to get their attention. Have you recruits memorized this yet? This is the current state of the soulless continent. I am not wasting 30 minutes repeating myself. Gron watches carefully from the back. He finally has a clear understanding of how the world looks right now. After the Demon Emperor died, 5 great courts were established this year, using power levels as the foundation for their rule. The war with humanity continued for years. Both sides traded wins and losses, until it finally reached this massive, bitter stalemate. Ice Plains, the Silent Court, the Eternal Court factions and kingdoms are spread across the entire map in a complex web. The Red Demon grabs a student by the head. Next up is the most important part of today's lesson: the talent seals. Now, pay attention. This talent seal system is where things get really crazy for our main character. Basic magic like fire and healing will be taught later. For now, we focus on your natural-born abilities and unique traits. Talent is innate. Unlike those weak humans, every single individual in our demon race possesses a unique talent seal of their own. Whether you are human or demon, using these skills requires consuming seal power from within your body to activate them. Power levels are shown through symbols, ranking from level 1 to level 6. The more seals you have, the stronger you are. As for the legendary overseals, mentioning them to stupid recruits like you is a total waste of my breath and time. The instructor glows with energy. I am a level 2 expert. You level 1 brats have a long way to go, and reaching level 2 is incredibly difficult. A glowing mark suddenly begins to appear on the back of Gron's hand as he watches. He is only level 1, but he is a rare type. You and I need to see what his hidden talent actually is. The teacher continues, explaining that reaching level 2 is the most critical milestone for any warrior. Level 1 lets you use skills, but reaching level 2 is when you awaken your true authority. That is your real ultimate power. In simple terms, it is your trump card. Suddenly, the crowd panics as a blonde recruit shoves Gron out of the way. Move it. The genius recruit has arrived. He is a level 2 expert. Do not even think about getting in his way. I do not want to end up dead like those other challengers hanging from his belt. The guy is a total monster. He glares at Gron. I do not need a footstool today. Who let this lowly farmer slave into our training camp? The others join in the mocking. But stay tuned, you and I are about to watch as Gron proves every single one of them wrong. Red Demon doesn't care. He silently orders someone to drag that slave to the manure pit. Training starts now. All right, stick with me, because we are about to see that raw power isn't the only thing that decides a fight. He pats the shrouded object. Skills, intel, and tactics are just as vital as strength in a real battle. Everyone focus. You need to observe and analyze this beast to finally find its one true weakness. Hongfot smirks, finally finding this interesting. The Red Demon pulls the cloth, revealing an ancient demon from the early era. Its intelligence is so low that it attacks friend and foe alike, without any hesitation or distinction. Only one remains of the original 10. This is a lethal evil howl demon, capable of shredding you rookies instantly. It has exactly one weak point. Find it if you want to survive, you bunch of beginners. Gron just watches with a bored expression. He turns away since there is nothing left to learn here. It is a shame he cannot just slaughter these demons to power up his Mountain of Corpses technique. The others crowd around guessing. Is it the head? The heart? Use your brains instead of just shouting. Now, pay attention here, because Gron senses something. Suddenly, those massive red eyes snap open. Limov lunges forward, but the red demon yanks the neck chain. Stay down, he laughs, thinking he controls the beast. Even with 3 seal power, its throat is in my hands. That is its only vulnerability. No matter how strong you are powerless now. But then, Limov's jagged teeth show as he speaks. Kid, you really think holding my throat means you can sleep soundly? You are dead wrong. This new generation of demons is pathetic. So naive and easy to trick. The red demon freezes in shock. You can talk? Limov sneers. Playing dumb for weeks was just part of a mission for that lord. Might as well take out these rookies and wipe out your royal court while I am at it. He taps the collar, and it shatters. Damn it. What is happening? Is this really 3 seal power? Red demon is torn apart before he can react. Blood sprays everywhere as Hong Fat stands frozen in fear. Limov goes into a killing frenzy. Hong Fat turns and runs for his life. Panic sets in. That power is insane. I need to get out before I lose everything here. Suddenly, he slams into Gron. Move it, you idiot. Why are you blocking my way? Gron just brushes off the dirt. Limov spots them fleeing and charges right toward their position. Hoang Fat reaches for his side. No choice left. I have to use the secret weapon now. Here is the part you and I need to watch. As Limov reaches for Gron, he suddenly stops. The monster hesitates. Why is this weakling showing zero fear? He is not even flinching. Does he actually know my secret? No way. Limov remembers his 9 brothers died years ago. This kid is just a new generation demon. He could not have ever seen an evil howl before. There is no way he knows. Limov relaxes, convinced the boy is just bluffing to scare him. The beast leaps again, but Gron's eyes glow. Take one more step, and you are dead. Limov scoffs at the threat. You really think you can make me get serious, little brat? Then prepare to witness my true power. Wings sprout from his back as his aura explodes. Gron stays perfectly still. Limov flies high, but then, he completely vanishes into the distance. He decided the risk was too high. If the kid was a hidden master, Limov would be finished. High risk for low reward is for fools. Hong Fat watches the monster flee in total disbelief. Did he just run away? Gron reaches out, and Hoang Fat looks up with a surprised, soft expression. He thinks he is being helped up. Don't think we are friends just because of this, peasant. I am a 2-seal genius, and you are just a slave. He reaches out to take Gron's hand, but Gron just rips a piece of his shirt off to wipe the grime from his own hands. You bastard. Hong Fat screams as the crowd whispers. How did a slave scare off that nightmare? Man, how did you even do that? Tell us the truth right now. You are just a slave, so do not hide anything from your superiors. Do not get cocky with us. So what do you and I take from this? Knowledge is power. He just read a human manual. Stick with me. You're about to learn why standing perfectly still is the only way to survive a monster's gaze. A blue demon blocks the path, demanding answers. Hey you, a lowly serf like you has no right to hide anything from our warrior class. You hear me? Don't you dare push your luck here. He calmly responds that he read a human tactical guide. It says those demons have no static vision, so if you stay still, they can't see you. The crowd panics, wondering if it's the legendary Long's book. Don't even mention that monster slayer's name, just hearing it makes my legs shake. Lucky for us, he died last year. Now that we know the beast's weakness, let's hunt it down together. We'll take its head for the reward. Gron just laughs internally. That demon's vision is top tier. Anyone standing still is just serving themselves up as a free meal. Yellow Hair barks out in fury. You think a few books make you special? Stop looking down on me. Someone asks if he's okay, but he just snaps back. He's just acting tough. I'm fine, I just need to sit for a minute. My legs definitely aren't shaking from fear. Don't you 5 always brag about your secret ultimate techniques? Well, now's the time to prove it. Follow that brat and kill him. Make sure it's the most humiliating death possible for everyone to see. Trust me. This is where it gets dark. The 5 assassins gather on a rooftop, ready to strike after tracking him long enough. Below them, Gron walks alone. One lackey releases a thick mist from his body, ensuring no witnesses can interfere with the kill. Hurry up, don't let him slip away now. They stalk him, unaware they're being watched by snakes. Is this kid really trying to play hide and seek? His snake demon powers come from an ancient bloodline. We just need to watch out for his venomous bite. Don't worry, his power level is trash. Even if he bites, it'll only sting for a second. He's no threat. The second brother leads the hunt, but suddenly, one of them stops. Smoke Ghost limps forward, begging for help. It hurts, help me, that damn snake bit me right in the gut. Suddenly, the gas in his stomach thickens before his body literally explodes, spraying poison everywhere. They scream in pain. My eyes. This mist is toxic. Gron steps through the screams. He closes his eyes, deciding to use these 5 trash piles as test subjects for his new powers. Ancient bloodline thermal vision active. By channeling energy to his eyes, he sees everything clearly in the dark. Then, he focuses power into his arms, shaping his strikes like a lethal snake. The survivors panic. What's happening? Where are the 4th and 5th brothers? Answer me. Damn, this poison mist really burns the eyes. Compared to my past life, this bloodline offers so many tactical options. Suddenly, a red axe blade cuts through the air. The second brother slashes the mist, revealing Gron's cold, emotionless face. You think taking out 3 weaklings makes you special? Without that poison fog, you're absolutely nothing to me. I'll tear you apart. The third brother sneers. Big brother is angry now you're dead. The assassin swings his twin axes with terrifying force, striking from both sides in a blur of steel. You and I both know how this ends. Gron catches the axe and punches a hole straight through the man's chest. The third brother's soul leaves his body. He drops to his knees, begging for his life. Please don't kill me. Gron asks for one good reason. The coward blabs everything it wasn't his idea. It was that two-seal genius with the yellow hair. Gron's expression stays terrifyingly cold. Not good enough. The guy starts sobbing. Wait. I'll take you to his secret cave. It's filled with stolen treasures and rare items. Gron considers it. A few more kills and he'll reach the second seal, unlocking his true power. This could be exactly what he needs. That rank 2 power is called Snake Molt, a total physical evolution, but to trigger it, he needs to offer rare treasures as a sacrifice to his own bloodline. Time to evolve. He heads to the mountains to check out the cave. The third brother leads the way, sweating. It's just up ahead. I swear. He points to a massive waterfall. The golden-haired brat hides everything in the cave behind the water. Just walk straight in, boss. Suddenly, Gron grabs him firmly by the neck. A second later, he uses the coward as a human shield against the traps. Gron tosses the arrow-filled corpse aside. Thanks for the help. Deep inside the cave, an urgent report is sent out. So, what do you and I think? A lowly serf scaring off a high-level demon? This story is just getting started, so stay tuned. All right, let's dive into this. The figure on the throne sounds surprised. A serf serpent? She smirks. This is getting interesting. That's Bone Crusher, leader of the Mount Yuan region. Meanwhile, Gron finds a tiny chest. Why hide such a small box in this massive cave? Suddenly, a voice booms, put that down. Where the hell did Huang Fa come from? He tries to throw a kick, shouting about how dare anyone touch his stuff. But Gron strikes first, smashing his knee. Huang Fa screams in pain. My damn leg. He retreats, keeping his guard up. Why? This guy is a completely different person compared to before. No wonder those 5 couldn't handle him. Fighting here is too risky, it's way too cramped for his style. It'll take a few minutes for his leg to heal. Huang Fa flies out toward the waterfall. He needs to retreat for now. Wings sprout from his back, his special talent, the black kite armor. Gron peeks through the water, so he's a bird-type demon. He steps back into the cave as a strange shadow looms in his mind. A bird-type demon? Huh? Now, watch closely. Gron makes his move and sprints toward the cave entrance. His eyes flare. With murderous intent, bird demons are the absolute worst. Seeing him give chase, Huang Fa panics. Gron grabs him by the neck. They plummet together, and one side of Huang Fa's face gets shredded. Gron keeps clashing with Huang Fa in midair. Huang Fa manages to kick Gron down, and he skims across the water's surface. Gron looks ice cold. Huang Fa mocks him, saying it's bad luck to fall into this pool of poisonous bile. The water beneath Gron starts rising, as a swarm of insects shoots toward him. They tear at his body while Huang Fa flies closer. These Mount Yuan gallbugs are endless, and they'll suck every drop of your blood. I'll watch as they rip you apart piece by piece until nothing but bone is left. This bile creates a deadly pool. If the mighty Mount Yuan demon were still alive, I bet we would have conquered humanity a long time ago. Gron suddenly leans down and bites one of the bugs. He spits it out and starts taking down the rest of the swarm. Huang Fa is stunned for a moment by that strength. But then he tells himself, what does raw power even matter? You probably got that strength from plowing fields. You'll die of old age before you kill all these bugs. Gron doesn't care. He opens his hand, and snakes appear to devour the insects. They even target Huang Fa, but he dodges it. He gives a smug smile. You farm boy, your speed is slower than a manure carrier. This whole place is an absolute mess. Huang Fa keeps dodging while throwing out insults. Your persona, so slow. These worms can only till the soil. Just wait until you're exhausted and die, you pathetic farmer. Very quickly, Gron is completely submerged under the pile of insects. Suddenly, the snakes tear everything apart, and bug corpses fall like rain. His eyes turn dangerous as a snake lunges, grazing Huang Fa's cheek. Now he's getting nervous. Why is this guy getting faster and faster? The water is covered in dead bugs. Gron looks indifferent. Killing these weaklings only got him to the second seal, but it's enough to handle that annoying bird. Thinking about this, he gets excited. Next time I blink, I'm going to rip your skull right out. Hearing that, Huang Fa flies higher. You're crazy. What are you talking about? As Gron closes in, he panics at the insane speed, but then Huang Fa pulls out a bow and arrow. Don't underestimate me. Calamity Thunderbolt. It's a demon arrow left by the late emperor. Fate must have intended for him to use it right now. He releases the string, and the arrow flies. Gron's fingernails are 1 centimeter from his eyes, but the arrow pierces his stomach. Several snakes slink out to wrap around the bow. What is happening? The snakes pull Gron's body deep into the lake. A massive ball of snakes sits on the water. His hand reaches out one last time. Huang Fa watches from the shore, confused. Did the Calamity Thunderbolt actually kill him? Just then, Huang Yu runs up. Brother, are you doing okay? She reaches out, explaining she followed the feathers to find him. He smiles. It's nothing. I just handled a thief who wanted our stuff. Then Huang Fa pulls out a small pouch. He hands it over to Huang Yu, saying it is for her eyes, and he would protect it with his very life. Deep underwater, Gron's consciousness is still active. He can't believe the Calamity Thunderbolt fell into that guy's hands. But he remembers that arrow shouldn't be able to mutate a body. Why is this body suddenly acting like this? Suddenly, his eyes begin to transform. Gron's body emits a blinding light, and an infinity symbol appears in his eyes. His green snake body coils as he realizes the truth. 2 powerful flows of energy appear. He chuckles, praising how that rare sacrifice awakened his survival instincts. So, what do you and I make of this? Ancient bloodline power. Snake molt has arrived. A light radiates from the molting skin, turning into a dark aura. Huang Fa waits as the bubbles finally stop. He is probably at the bottom, dead as a doornail. He wipes the blood off his cheek, finally feeling at peace. Stick with me, you and I are about to see the exact moment this normal fight turns into an absolute, supernatural storm. His face goes completely blank as the violent, crackling thunder begins to roar through the sky. Bubbles gather where the light hits, suddenly erupting with a massive force that sends a powerful shockwave crashing into both of them. Huang Vu notices at first something just leaped out from the lightning. He shouts, "What? Where?" While she points toward the water in terror. A figure emerges from the waves, crackling with purple electricity. Hoang Fat watches the scene, feeling completely and utterly powerless. Now pay attention, this is where Gron reveals his most terrifying form yet. He stands ready as the lightning strikes down. He speaks with a chilling voice. It was my mistake. The boy charges in a rage, screaming for the farmer to stop acting tough. Ron just waves his hand casually. Hongfat watches in terror and screams, "Damn it, how dare you play with me?" A single, clean strike cuts right through Hongfat's wings, leaving him in total shock. Trash like you isn't even enough to test my new powers. Ron delivers a brutal kick that sends him flying into the water. Hongvu rushes to his side. He stares back with hollow eyes, blaming himself and wishing he had just a little more strength. He forces himself up. Once he is finished with me, he will definitely go after my sister next. Hongfat's power suddenly explodes. Gron just gives a bored O as the boy shields his sister with his new bird armament technique. She cheers out. "Little brother, you finally awakened your true hidden power. I won't let you fight alone anymore." She activates her magic eye beast summon, determined to stand her ground right alongside him. Hoang Vu quickly unleashes her energy. The siblings join forces, and Hoang Fat is the first to charge back into the fray. Arrows rain down, but Gron does not even flinch. He drops low, focuses his weight, and then launches himself forward like a cannonball. Gron moves like a flash of lightning, landing a devastating punch on Hong Fat's face that sends him spinning far away. He senses a beast lunging and spins instantly, throwing a massive, thunderous fist to crush the monster in one go. Gron touches down. Hong Fat shouts, "Now is the chance." He uses the beast's body as a clever distraction for a sneak attack. A surprise attack? You have actually got some brains. Gron effortlessly catches the blow with just one hand. Huang Vu attacks with her magic eye, pushing her power to the limit for a final, spinning strike of energy. Huang Fat laughs, seeing the enemy's pressure drop. Trying to defend? This hit is going to break right through your guard. You and I both know what happens when an overconfident villain starts talking. Ron just offers some cold, mocking praise. Ron charges. "I will just have to crush you." Dark Thunder Fang. Hong Fat is sent flying back instantly. He holds out an object, telling her to run. She crawls forward through the dirt, refusing to leave her brother behind. He tries to pass it to her, but Ron steps on his hand. The boy starts begging, "Please, just give it back to me." His sister needs fresh human eyes to keep from going blind. Gron scoffs. A simple healing spell could have fixed that problem, but a good doctor is harder to find than eyes. And because of that, so many innocents lost their sight. Tears fill Hongvu's eyes as she hugs her brother. "We don't want it. If you want them, take them. Just please, show some mercy and let us live." He drops his lightning form and asks one question. They both quickly tell him to go ahead and ask it. When those people were begging for their eyes, did you show them any mercy? They both freeze up instantly. Answer me, yes or no. The siblings look at each other before she glances away and says she simply forgot. Ron realizes he expected too much. Even with civilization and feelings, the nature of these demons has not changed one bit. They still hurt others for their own gain and think absolutely nothing of it. Treating lives like trash is second nature to them. This new thunder form is definitely his best catch so far. However, using this form drains way too much of his internal energy. I cannot just use it whenever I feel like it. Two monsters nearby find the bodies and wonder if the lightning killed them. A shadowy figure walks closer. Both their heads were blown apart by lightning, a brutal and powerful execution. Tuai Kot stands there, looking for the uninvited guest. Deep inside the forest, she gives orders to her subordinates as they walk. "If any more geniuses die like this, I will inspect them personally." Suddenly, Gron walks right past her. And that's where we leave it, with a new enemy asking, "Who are you? And what are you doing here?" "Stick with me, our lead is playing a dangerous game." Reporting, "Leader, just foraging for berries," he claims. But Shatterbone leans in. "I finally remember you, the slave who scared off the nightmare beast." She shoves Gron back, but she has much more important things on her mind right now. Shatterbone slams her foot onto his shoulder. "I have been craving fruit tarts lately, so you better find me something delicious." Gron stays silent as she touches his nose with a sharp claw. "Do your job, or I might just turn you into a snack instead." Later, Gron hides in the brush, dusting himself off. That brief contact was all he needed to gauge the massive power hidden inside her. Her energy is a 4 seal rank, heavy, thick, and incredibly oppressive. She is clearly a defensive specialist with unreal strength. Facing her right now would be nothing short of a suicide mission. Demons have speed and raw power, but he lacks a way to break through such a high-level defense. He needs a new plan. It is a shame. If he could kill this high-level demon, his Mountain of Corpses skill would skyrocket in power. Now, pay attention here, because the gap between them is massive. Without knowing her weakness, his chances of winning are basically zero. But how can he possibly ignore the hunger for her soul? The hunt officially begins. Meanwhile, Shatterbone is flipping through books, looking for something specific. Not this one. Not the legends of the third-generation kings. The marks on these bodies were not caused by this type of electricity, a talent for charging the body with energy, growing specialized organs that can surge power through every single cell. By storing energy and releasing it in different ways, the electricity transforms into various deadly styles of attack. When hellish power expands these organs to the limit, the electrical output becomes absolutely devastating. Every life he takes makes his Mountain of Corpses stronger. The more powerful the target, the greater the boost he receives. Then there is the rare power of Happy Days. It is uncontrollable. Once the count reaches a certain number, it triggers. She stares at the book, frustrated. Not this one either. Shatterbone slumps into her chair, unable to find the answers she needs. Back with Gron, he knows this hunt requires absolute patience. He must find a way to increase his strength until he can end her in a single strike before she even suspects him. A monster whispers, "Slow down. If the leader catches us doing this illegal business, we are dead." His partner laughs. "Relax. It is hidden. She will never find out. A frog snaps up a fly, unaware of the shadow looming behind it. A figure slowly rises from the dark. You and I both know what happens next. Gron pats the monster's head. It is very quiet here. Perfect for harvesting your souls. At a hidden cave, a guard stops Gron. Halt. Where did a stray dog like you come from? Get lost. No black market token. No entry. But the heavy doors creak open anyway, and Gron walks inside with total confidence. He tosses a coin into the fire as the chaotic noise of the market washes over him. Finally, you passed inspection. Got your token? Good. This process is such a pain. They miss the old days when you could buy fresh humans anywhere. Now, everything is hidden, and the best products are strictly banned by the leader. High-grade materials like soul steel. Weapons made from this can resonate with your energy, making your sword skills 10 times dozens of times more powerful than before. I know the legends about soul steel weapons are just a bunch of hype anyway. I have never heard of a smith who could actually forge it. Heart wine, guaranteed to be made from two-legged animals, not four. This is the real deal. Two-legged animals? If the leader finds out about these forbidden goods, she will skin everyone alive at least 10 times over. We found real treasure today. I don't know what made the leader go crazy 2 years ago, banning all trade of human parts and slaves. Yeah, they say she wanted to save resources. If you ask me, that woman has totally lost her mind. Gron listens carefully, analyzing the situation. This abnormal behavior suggests she is definitely plotting something big behind the scenes. A two-horned demon leads a group forward. Fresh stock. Except for the first one, the rest have no eyes. So the price is right. The crowd jeers. This low-quality trash is all you have for us? I heard a pair of siblings are out there gouging eyes. This shady merchant must have made a fortune off them already. The dealer rubs his hands with a greasy smile. Calm down, everyone. I will give you all a great discount. Gron steps out from the shadows. I will take them all. The dealer sneers. Got any money, you filthy beggar? He points calmly at his offer. Thunderbolts in exchange for them. If that is not enough, then we have nothing to say. The merchant's face flips instantly. Thunderbolts? He leans in close. You mean the secret weapon used by that golden-haired brat? Trust me, you and I are about to see a very interesting deal. Take them outside. I need a private word with this gentleman. All right, stick with me. We are about to see just how brutal this world is as a bag falls and Mac gets kicked. That creep was already planning something sick, hoping to keep the meaty one all to himself for a little fun later. Inside, the deal is going south fast. They are terrified. The blonde guy will find out they stole his treasure, so they need to sell. The door creaks shut, and for a second, it is silent until a blood-curdling scream rips through the air. Snakes swarm the buyer's legs as he shrieks for help, but it is too late. Fresh blood starts pooling out from the door. A moment later, the door swings open. Ron steps out into the hall, leaving nothing but a room full of carnage behind him. Outside, the guard is still clueless. He just growls at the kids to shut up and stay in line. He threatens to roast their tongues, but out of nowhere, Ron appears and takes his head clean off. Ron wipes his hand, realizing he is finally strong again, though his power cycle has come full circle once more. Sula is shaking, tears streaming down her face as she collapses. A demon among demons, she stammers, while Ron just watches. He checks his status. The activation rate for his Happy Day power is low, but the side effects are a different story. It is a rare, uncontrollable curse. Every time the cycle resets, the probability of it triggering on its own goes up. He looks down at the two terrified kids and holds out the dropped bag. Mac, is this yours? He asks coldly. The boy grabs it, relieved it is safe. Ron doesn't waste time, ordering everyone to follow him as Sula holds a rope. Ron immediately tosses the leash aside. He has no interest in seeing people being led around like cattle. Inside a hidden room, the group erupts in cheers. I can see. My eyes. I can finally see again. They are falling over themselves, thanking him, shocked to find a good person among demons. But the older guys tell them to be quiet. These poor guys are terrified of the blonde and pink-haired demons, so they are being extra careful not to offend Ron. They beg for forgiveness for their rudeness, but Ron just looks at Mac and tells him to stop the noise. The kid smiles, thanking Ron for the bag and for healing them. Sula, though, asks why a demon would actually save them. Because I felt like it, Ron replies. Sula is stunned, but Ron's subordinate snaps at her to stay quiet. Shut it, brat. Ron sits down, trying to figure out the best way to get this group out of there safely. Everyone just stands there, watching him. The room goes dead silent, and the tension starts to feel heavy. Now, pay attention, because Sula is about to do something either very brave or very stupid to break the silence. For the harvest festival, the tavern was selling the second glass of ale at half price. It was a huge deal, right? A guy walks in, looks the server in the eye, and says with a smirk, "Just give me the second glass." The others are too scared to breathe. But then something happens. Ron actually starts laughing, and everyone stares in shock. Andre and Oliver can't believe it. Does this scary demon actually have a sense of humor? This is getting weird. Sula rushes toward him, happy someone gets her. But suddenly, black snakes shoot out and wrap around her legs, making her scream. Andre and Mac are pinned down too. Oliver calls out for help, but Ron just looks down with cold eyes. Watch closely here. You and I are seeing Ron's twisted way of teaching them how to survive in this hell. Now you will taste a painful death. This is what happens when you trust a demon. Remember this lesson if you survive. Sula watches her friends collapse in terror. Ron stands over her, asking if she is really going to fight the poison. She screams through her tears, realizing the truth. You aren't trying to kill us. You just poisoned us, so we would pass out. Ron goes quiet as Sula keeps shouting. Why would you tell a dead person to remember a lesson for the future? You just want us to never lower our guard around other demons again. Ron looks at her and asks a simple question. And why are you so sure about that? Sula stammers out her answer, because I know you are actually a good person. A moment passes before Ron asks what she wants. She looks him in the eye and says she wants to follow him. He shuts her down instantly, calling her useless weight. But she smiles and says she is a blacksmith who can help. My name is Sula. What about you? Ron pauses, realizing something. Sula, are you the granddaughter of Alexius? She is stunned that he knows her grandfather. Ron just rubs his neck, calling him an old acquaintance from the past. I was only 17 or 18 when I met him. I even held you when you were just a tiny baby. Memories flood back. Alexius had once told him, I do not forge blades for those who hurt family or for killers. He looked Ron in the eye and said, you reek of the blood of your kin and the innocent. So what do you and I take from this? Some scars never heal. Trust me, things are about to get even crazier. Let's dive into Gron's secret past. Tudia sent me. She says you're the master smith forging an incredible rest steel greatsword. Something the world has never seen before. I want it. Alexius looked back at the woman from the Sect of Mercy, and once he asked, Gron gave a silent nod. You're close with her? Good. She's a kind soul, so if she trusts you, it proves you aren't a bad man. I owe her a favor, so I'll give you my best work. Gron handed over a statue. This mercy goddess is for the hilt. I want it integrated into the guard. Tell me, when can I come back to collect the finished blade? Alexius tucked the statue away. Be patient, kid. A legendary sword takes time to forge. It's not a 2-day job. Come check whenever you like. My daughter-in-law is due soon, so I need to find a scholar to write a birth blessing. Time passed, and snow soon blanketed the streets. Eventually, Gron made his way back to the blacksmith's old workshop. He walked up and called out, Alexius, where's my sword? The old man pointed. By the door. Go get it yourself. Gron noticed an inscription on the blade and read it aloud. Sula. Alexius explained. My granddaughter's name, and the sword's too. He gripped the hilt and glanced at the old man. Where are the girl's parents? Why aren't they here? Alexius patted the girl's head, telling how monsters calling themselves the demon race came from nowhere and slaughtered the entire village. Gron stood frozen in shock at the horror. Now, pay attention, everything changes here. Gron's voice went cold and rigid. So, that's what they're called. The demon race. Alexius looked up in surprise. You've met them too? Did they kill Tudia and your loved ones as well? Gron's eyes suddenly flared into a deep, terrifying blood red. Yes, they all died by demon hands. Alexius handed the child to him. She never even received her birth blessing. Gron gently patted her head and spoke softly. Then I'll be the one to give you a blessing. I hope you rarely know suffering, and that your name stays with me as I go out and start this massive slaughter. I'm going after the demons. That mercy statue on the sword? I don't think I'll be needing mercy anymore. His footsteps left a heavy trail in the deep snow as he walked away into the cold. A deep question is asked. Mercy and healing the wounded is just a self-delusion for the Sect of Mercy. I want to act before those evil monsters can even swing their blades at the innocent. Gron dragged his sword through the snow. Then, like a flash of lightning, he began tearing through every single demon in sight. He didn't stop until the bodies were piled high, his eyes glowing with a terrifying, blood-red light. He piled the bodies high, eyes glowing red, until every last one was hunted down. Standing on a mountain of corpses, he realized this was true mercy. You saw that too, right? This was pure, cold justice. Back in the present, she realized the truth. Your Uncle Gron, My grandfather used to tell me all these stories about you. But uncle, why do you look like a demon now? You look way younger than 30. I can't believe it. Gron ignored the comment. Let's just say I aged well, kid. Now tell me, why did the demons kidnap you? Sula crossed her arms and sighed. It's a long story, but I won't go home until I forge the ultimate demon-slaying sword. He narrowed his eyes at her. Fine then. Keep working hard, and see if you can actually do it. Her face lit up. Really? You think I have what it takes? Gron picked up a branch and started writing. Having something you truly want to do is a great thing. I'm the vampire knight, the one who saved you all from those serpent demons. When you wake up, put on these demon furs and head straight toward the east. Don't look back. You'll eventually reach the border of the Yivia kingdom. Andre woke up first and shouted for the others to look. It's the legendary vampire knight, the disciple of that demon-slaying madman Gron. All three quickly huddled together to read the message. Max stared off into the distance. Is it really him? Meanwhile, Gron's team finished their work and gathered their tools. So, what about you, kid? Have you actually managed to get anything done yet? Sula smirked and held out her hand. Building a simple forge like this is child's play. But it's a shame the only high-grade rest steel mine is held by the demon race. It's impossible to get any right now. I've got all the skill in the world, but I've got zero materials to actually use it. He suddenly dropped the materials in front of her. I picked these up earlier. Guess we got lucky. Sula's eyes widened. You're a master at stealing things. He just shrugged. Do you even know the secret to forging rest steel? She hugged the materials tight. Of course. Don't underestimate me. I'm one of only 3 people who knows how. 3? You, your grandfather, and who else? Sula's next words made Gron's face go completely dark. It's the current demon king, Agricola. He's known as the strongest in history, but he completely refuses to forge any weapons for the rest of the demon race. He only forged 2 swords specifically for his own use. They are masterpieces of death. With your Sula blade destroyed, only 6 rest steel weapons remain in the entire world. And trust me, you and I are going to see exactly where they end up, alright? You and I are diving into a world where the new demon generation is a massive threat. As Gron turns to leave, the girl asks where he is going, and he simply replies that the hunt continues. We move to the land of Yuanshan, specifically the hot springs reserved for the supreme leader. A guard reports that the underground market was totally wiped out with 0 survivors, showing the brutal nature of the demons. The leader, Bonebreaker, orders a harsher crackdown on human trade while soaking in the steaming water. She commands them to hang the corpses in the plaza so everyone can see the price of breaking her laws. The subordinate nervously asks how they should go about finding the killer responsible for this massacre. She snaps at him to shut up and get to work, threatening the slaves if breakfast is late again. Lowering herself into the water, she thinks about how much she craves some high-quality sugar right now. Over at the camp, 2 monsters are talking about how dangerous things have become lately. They wonder if bandits with 3 or 4 seals from the no man's land are the ones causing all this trouble. Now, pay attention. Do you really think the leader would not recognize a high-level intruder immediately? They start to wonder if there is a way for someone to disguise themselves as a simple first seal rank. Nearby, Ron silently stares at his hand, using a super seal technique to force his power levels to change. Suddenly, one of his marks disappears, but the monsters dismiss the idea of an expert hiding right next to them. The demons in the area are becoming much more alert as the tension begins to rise. Gron realizes that faking a weak rank to bait them might be more effective than a direct attack. The crowd gossips about another dead genius who was almost at the 3rd seal rank, far stronger than the blonde guy. People find it strange that geniuses keep dying mysteriously, while the weak ones seem to stay safe. Ron walks away, knowing he was not the killer this time. Realizing there is another predator on the loose, he wonders to himself if someone else is hunting in this territory besides him. Suddenly, Gron stops in his tracks as the noisy area goes silent and the wind begins to pick up. He mutters that whoever is following a slave like him probably is not interested in learning how to farm. Now watch closely. Someone steps out from the shadows and lunges straight for him. Gron leans back to dodge the strike and counters with a heavy punch that feels like hitting a wall. Realizing the opponent has incredible defense, he quickly retreats while the stranger calmly brushes off the blow. Gron kicks a pillar hard, sending a spray of water directly at the mysterious attacker. The stranger mocks his persistence, catching Gron by the arm and claiming they over-evaluated his strength. He immediately releases his power, sending a shockwave through the enemy that makes them scream in pain. As the ground shatters, the opponent retreats, and Gron prepares to increase his seal density even further. He coldly asks the stranger if they can actually handle the full weight of his power. The two stand in a ruined landscape, the air heavy with tension as a piece of cloth drifts between them. Bonebreaker decides to stop the chase, realizing she cannot catch up to him at that speed. She smirks, wondering if a dangerous first seal rank like him should be recruited or simply executed. Gron knows that for now, he can only cause surface wounds to a fighter of her caliber. The steel sword and Sura is still months away from being finished as he returns to his cave. He needs to find a way to evolve his power into a form capable of crushing such a tough opponent. Suddenly, a cloud of dust fills the air, and Ron has to shield his eyes to see Sura. Did the ventilation fail? The girl just laughs, admitting she got too excited about the new steel. Sura rushes back to the forge, worried that the fire is getting too hot for the blade. She carefully handles the metal, and Ron asks if this is the sword she has been forging for him. Wiping her face, she explains that it is perfectly balanced and suited for his current level of strength. Sura proudly shows off the 7th soul steel weapon, calling it her greatest masterpiece so far. Get ready, because you and I are about to see her masterpiece in action. He praises her hard work, and she beams with joy, knowing she did a perfect job. All right, you and I are about to see if a cloth-wrapped blade can take down a monster. Sula stammers that the right materials are still missing. It is fine, this works for now. He lifts the blade and asks if she has given it a name yet. The girl admits she is not great at naming things. Since his previous sword was called X La Prime, she decides that this brand new blade should be called Little X instead. Ron smiles and agrees to the name. Suddenly, power surges through the blade, and he realizes this restless steel sword is the real deal. His body is already screaming to absorb it as a sacrifice, so he can finally evolve further. But it is not time yet. He must wait for the sword to be fully perfected to reach an absolute, unstoppable new form. Sula raises her hammer and promises to try her best. Then she asks if he can use his legendary sword technique. He really wants to see if her own creation can pull off the same godlike moves from the old legends she heard. Ron cleans her face and sighs. There is no peak high enough here to unleash the true power of the Skyfall technique. Early the next morning, Sula is still fast asleep when a delicious, mouth-watering scent drifts right into her nose. Sula sits up and runs over, shocked at how long the dish is. She wonders if her uncle has always been this good at cooking. Ron explains that the parent of a former student at the Royal Academy taught him this. He carefully sets the dish down. The two monsters stop talking as they see him. Since the plate is so long, they tell him to go in first while they grab wine. The door opens, and the aroma fills the room. Gron looks inside with a cold stare, while Bone Crusher smiles at him. She lies there and comments on the long plate, asking to see the goods. She thinks he is just a smart guy who knows when to bring a tribute to her door. She sits up, clearly pleased with how cooperative her new guest seems to be. Now pay attention, because this is where the sneak attack turns into an absolute bloodbath, as Ron finally transforms and strikes at her with the restless steel sword. He glares at her, knowing she will not get lucky twice. Bone Crusher quickly moves her hands to block his blow. It is a defensive talent called Ibius Dawn Guard. Ron knocks her back, realizing he needs to test her defense a little bit more before his next move. Bone Crusher scoffs, telling him that a weak surprise like that is not enough to satisfy her appetite for battle. Gron raises his sword, joking that maybe he should have added more honey. He apologizes for not asking before lunging forward with a flurry of relentless attacks. She mocks his style, one person attacking and the other defending, with an arrogant smirk on her face. She transforms her weapon into the Ibius Sunset Strike. Gron watches closely and barely tilts his body to dodge the lethal blow, his eyes tracking every single one of her movements. He sets his stance for a counterattack and swings his sword with massive force. Bone Crusher is sent flying back. She thinks he is just a reckless fighter who does not know how to use his weapon properly and will run out of energy soon. But he quickly calculates his remaining energy, enough for 4 massive strikes and 1 healing spell. Her spear is much weaker than that shield, so he considers using a spell to force her into a disadvantageous trade. Gron's eyes land on her shield for a split second. No, he has a much better plan than that. He slams his foot down, releasing waves of black energy. Bone Crusher just sneers at what she thinks is a pathetic little trick. Gron keeps his focus, wrapping a layer of energy around his body to create a perfect insulation barrier. This is a specialized anti-lightning technique invented by the legendary hero Fei Wai long ago. Years ago, he taught this technique to many brave human warriors, but it seems even the demon race has been secretly learning his moves. She watches him intensely, wondering if his true power lies within that mysterious talent of his. Do you and I Really think a demon thief can compare to a true legend like him? Bone Crusher mocks his hurry as she suddenly transforms her left hand into a terrifying new form. She stabs Ron right through the chest and lifts him high. She laughs at him for being distracted during a life-and-death assassination. Suddenly, snakes appear from his bloodline. One slithers up and covers her eyes, and she can hardly believe he is using such cheap tricks. Gron's sword begins to glow with a powerful resonance. She rips the snake off her face, yelling at him to show some shame. A massive surge of power erupts from his body. Fine then, the warm-up is finally over. Gron raises his sword and yells as the battle begins. Legend says, a wicked lava python once tried to swallow the 3 moons, causing the entire world into eternal darkness. To protect the moonlight in the dark of night, the hero Ibius stood his ground. Even after his spear and shield were melted by the python, he fought the beast with nothing but his bare hands. He eventually strangled the python to death, but he was burned to ashes in the process. Bone Crusher concentrates her energy as her eyes turn bloodshot. She realizes too late that she is in deep trouble, and there is no time left. Gron lunges with his blade, catching her right as she tries to switch weapons. He stabs her straight through without any hesitation. And that's where we leave it, trust me. You and I are going to want to see how he survives. All right. You and I are jumping straight into the action as Toei Kot launches her counterattack. She's channeling her full Ibis power to crush Gron. That massive punch lands with a sickening thud, sending Gron flying backward. Even his sword gets driven deep into the dirt. With Toei Kot closing in, Gron has to act fast. His internals are shredded and bones are shattered. He needs to dodge and heal now. 2 dark streaks suddenly swirl around her fist. Toei Kot isn't even surprised by the move. Oh, so you're trying to use soft techniques to counter my hard power? She pulls back her energy to escape as an experienced fighter. She's more than happy to take this fight to the ground for some grappling. But get this, Gron isn't about to let go. Toei Kot calmly reads the play. She knows those internal injuries must be hurting like absolute hell right now. Honestly, she's only met one other person who can endure this much pain. It would be a waste to kill him just yet. Her legs lock around Gron in a tight grip as she makes a seductive offer to join her side. But then, she changes her mind. Fine, then she'll take his silence as a final answer. Now watch this. She kicks him away before launching a killing blow that sends Gron flying high into the air. Not even a massive boulder can stop his momentum. A beam of light erupts as he crashes straight out of the mountain. There's a giant hole left in the cave. If his rest sword hadn't blocked that strike, he'd be nothing but red mist. Toei Kot checks the damage. With wounds that severe, she doesn't believe he's still breathing. High in the air, Gron silently mends his body. He sticks the landing on a floating rock to regroup. Massive mountain fragments drift through the sky as a blinding light begins to glow. Gron enters his power state again. Toei Kot narrows her eyes, recognizing the Heavenly Fall Sword technique's second form. From the heavens, he strikes with a thunderous blow. She refuses to back down, summoning her demon race powers to meet him. Both sides charge in with total determination. Their second form moves collide, creating a massive, earth-shaking shockwave that rattles the air. Intense energy flares through the castle windows before things finally settle. Thick dust completely hides Gron's silhouette. The smoke clears to reveal him still standing tall. His eyes are cold, sharp, and focused right on her. Toei Kot survived, but barely. She admits that without her trump card, that last sword strike would have finished her. She uses her energy to mend herself, finally acknowledging how strong this guy really is. In 2 years, he's the first person to push her this far. Her aura explodes with the Immortal War Flag talent. She can absorb any attack now. She tells him he should be proud of himself for reaching this level. Gron looks on in shock at her new form. The Immortal War Flag is no joke. You and I both saw that coming, right? She tells him to take his pride to hell and attacks, but then Gron calls out the name Fei, and she completely freezes in place. Fei stops dead, her killing intent vanishing instantly. She pulls back the bandages on his neck to find a hidden mark. We flash back to when Fei was traveling with Merovius. He'd mentioned that the demon slayer Gron was joining their team. She thought he was just a southern legend made up to boost the soldiers' morale. But then she spots something strange in the distance. Why does that mountain peak look so perfectly round? Turns out, it's not a peak at all. It's the head of a massive mountain ape monster. Fei realizes this monster is the giant mountain ape. It clutches its head and lets out screams of pure agony. And the group watches in shock as the beast begins to transform. Why is its head turning into a spike? Merovius warns that it's the Heavenly Fall Sword's first form. Fei is stunned. A strange light erupts from its skull. The ape loses control, its massive legs failing to hold its weight. The beast's massive body collapses as Sopa quickly begins chanting a defensive spell. A protective shield wraps around the group, while thick mist and blood fill the air. The monster is a total wreck. Suddenly, the ape's jaw moves, and a bloody hand reaches out from the inside. It turns out Gron was the one behind all of this. Coldly, he asks Merovius if these three are the helpers mentioned in the letter. Merovius tries to play peacemaker. We're all teammates now, here to take down the Demon Emperor together. But Gron isn't here to make friends. He draws a hard line and jumps down from the beast. He lectures Merovius, saying that deep feelings only lead to heavy burdens and eventual disaster. Fei Wai steps in his way, telling him she completely disagrees. Gron doesn't give a damn what she thinks, and that's where we leave it. One cold hero walking away from a future ally. Trust me, you'll want to see what happens next. Let us jump into a story where loyalty is everything. Even if the cast is not exactly the friendly type you might expect, it is fine. He can keep his stubborn ideals, but maybe we will not be walking the same path together anymore in the future. Back in reality, she trembles while facing Gron, who gives a tiny smile and a quiet nod to confirm his true identity. She pulls him into a tight hug, relieved he is finally alive. As she holds him close, Gron remarks that this crying does not match her old tough personality or her usual cold exterior. She tearfully admits she never expected to see friends again, making him feel a wave of deep regret for the past. He apologizes for not doing better back then, just as some subordinates walk in asking what exactly is going on here. The subordinates stand there completely frozen by the scene before them. Fei Wai quickly barks at them to get out, so she can rest and recover her magic power, and they obediently follow her orders. Now, pay attention here, because the power being released in this room is like a wild, unstoppable flood, and the sounds have everyone talking. They whisper about how even her iron defense could not stop the pain from Henry's overwhelming and savage power. Ron uses healing magic on her, while she asks if he still carries the heavy guilt of those years long ago. He stiffens up, unable to answer, but she stops him and says his constant nagging about doing better used to drive her crazy. He looks confused and wonders if he really is the type of person who talks too much or nags others. Fei Wai confirms it without any hesitation, even as she winces from the pain of her current injuries. He tells her to endure it, since she previously broke 10 of his bones, but she quickly starts making excuses for her own actions. She explains she only acted tough back then because she is actually terrified of feeling pain. Over a quiet, lavish dinner, Ron asks about her 2 years spent reincarnated into the world as a demon. She tells stories, mentioning her sister too. She explains how she used her blood connection to find her sister and thought they were the only ones reincarnated, while Ron notes her gender change. Gron is genuinely shocked by this new look. How did she become a female demon? She gives him a judgmental look and corrects him she was actually born a woman in the first place. You and I are seeing the exact moment he realizes he lived with her for 3 years, while mistakenly thinking she was just another man. He remembers an old argument where Merovec told him he was blind to people, which he thought was just a comment made in anger. Ron desperately asks if everyone else knew the truth, and she confirms that every single one of them was aware of it. He complains about her not saying anything, but she just says he never bothered to ask the question himself. Gron asks one more time if it is a joke, but she confirms it is the absolute truth. She points out that his sister always called her big sister right in front of him. He thought it was just a northern military honorific, like some kind of title for a senior soldier. Seeing a child nearby, Ron explains she is the swordsmith's niece and needs to get some rest. She notices some wooden figurines on the table and realizes one of them is missing. Finding an object on the floor, she picks it up and asks why he hates himself so much. He says it is a reminder to do better, to protect everyone, and destroy evil once and for all. She shrugs and mockingly asks if he really thinks he can do all that by himself. She confidently declares that she is joining him to wipe out those villains together. They shake hands firmly as comrades, reuniting their group under one roof, while the complete collection of their wooden statues stands gathered in the distance. Ron asks about her 2 years spent secretly hunting down the geniuses of the new era. She admits to it without any hesitation. She did it to stop threats before they could grow and to maintain her own personal influence over this desolate and ruined land. Aside from her one loyal second in command, everyone else with a bit of strength constantly tried to kill her and seize her throne. She explains that the second Demon King is lazy, making this region much harder to rule than the other courts. He notes that these Demon Kings really seem to love their secrets. The first was a mystery. The second followed suit, but there is one more annoying problem to deal with. Demons are born for slaughter, and even with human emotions, the instinct to kill remains strong. And that is where we leave it, with her mind slowly being consumed by a nature she cannot control. Alright, you and I are back with Ron, who's realizing his new demon body is changing him in some pretty weird ways. He answers honestly, saying his personality is more mellow and his ways of destroying enemies lack their usual creative spark. Faye just grimaces in annoyance at that. Meanwhile, a sleepy Sula asks, "Uncle, who is this lady?" Faye can't resist pinching her adorable little cheeks. Ron sighs and explains, "She is Faye, a reincarnated demon just like me." Faye is already busy playing with the little girl. "Is your Uncle Ron really wearing such rags?" She gently hugs Sula, telling them to pack up and move to her basement. It is way more private. Soon, all three of them head out to the new location. He is impressed by the intel she has gathered over the past 2 years. Faye just shrugs. "Well, of course I did. There are tons of names listed on her board." Sula pouts. "Don't treat me like a doll." Even though she looks cute in her new outfit, Ron admits she looks great, noting the style resembles custom-made clothes from the royal family of An. Faye is thrilled and asks, "So, do you finally recognize that my skills are the real deal now?" Ron teases her right back. "I thought you were lying before, considering you struggled to weave a simple grass skirt." Faye fires back that resources were limited then. Besides, didn't that grass skirt have a perfect island vibe to it? Now, pay attention, because while she is looking for accessories, Ron spots something that stops him in his tracks. He needs to confirm what it is. The call of the sea soul. Faye just shrugs, asking if it is not just a pretty seashell. She explains it was just a toll paid by a demon merchant caravan from the mountains. Ron knows better. This is an ancient relic. He remembers reading about it back at the Royal Academy. Faye realizes what it actually represents. Ancient, as in the republic that fell over 3,000 years ago? Ron nods. Exactly. And this item has a very special power. Scholars at the Royal Academy tested it. It can actually allow one person to temporarily step inside the soul of another. Once inside the soul, you can observe the other person's old memories as a bystander. It sounds like a perfect tool for sneaking a look at someone's secrets. Ron corrects her. "My point is, we can use this to look back at the exact moment we died." That final image is still burned into his mind. Ron still has so many questions. Back then, he felt something strange happening, but he did not have the strength to focus on it. He wants her to enter his soul and see if there was a specific reason that led to their reincarnation in the first place. After hearing the plan, Faye agrees. No problem. She is ready to do it right here and now. Ron follows along. "Good. You are as reliable as ever. Now, we just need to put the other half in." Faye looks confused. "The other half?" Ron frowns. "Yeah, it has to be complete for the ritual to actually work." She awkwardly explains that the other half is gone. Apparently, a group of demon bandits has been lurking around this lawless area for months. Lots of supplies were stolen, and that half of the seashell was likely among the loot they took. But Ron is not letting it go. "Why didn't you take it back? Surely they are no match for you, right?" She makes excuses, saying she is not good at chasing people down. Those guys are slippery, leaving Ron to groan in frustration. "I taught you guys stealth and tracking skills in the past, didn't I? What have you been doing all this time?" Ron scolds her for not improving at all. Whether it's hunting him or assassinating demon geniuses, if she were more thorough, she would see their flaws. Faye finally gives in and promises to practice properly from now on. "Don't wait for later, we're doing it now. Meanwhile, let's check in on those demons who have no idea what's coming." It has been 2 years since the Sovereign Mountain sent troops to raid humans, so they have been stealing their tribute instead. The Demon Tooth Mountains sent mushrooms to Sovereign Mountain. They have been feasting on all sorts of high-quality goods lately. Everything from top-tier sugarcane to fine wine from the Apostle cult is being diverted to them. There is so much food, and it tastes incredible. A female demon and her giant companion watch from a distance. Even small gains add up when they are this consistent and easy to grab. She is proud of their progress, thinking that soon they will have enough power to return to the lawless zone and kill that cursed evil dragon. Outside, the working demons just finished stealing 2 more chests full of valuable supplies meant for the Sovereign Mountain. Apparently, it is a tribute from some snake nest. It's locked tight, so they decide to take a break before finding tools to pry the heavy things open. Those 2 chests look a little suspicious. A second later, 2 pairs of human legs suddenly pop out from the bottom. Faye whispers that his plan actually worked. These idiots are like flies drawn to trash. At least they did not have to go searching for them. Ron quietly tells her to never use that metaphor ever again. They have successfully infiltrated, but they cannot just start a loud fight. Can they take them all out? They are not strong, but there are a lot of them. Trust me, you and I need to see how they pull this off. All right, stick with me, Because if someone runs off with the call of the sea soul now, all this hard work is wasted. We need to observe them first and figure out exactly where they are stashing the loot. 2 demons are whispering nearby. That damn evil dragon, its horns are way too powerful to handle. Human heavy crossbows are formidable too. Maybe we steal a few, or better yet, lure that dragon toward the humans. We wait until both sides are battered and broken. That is when we will make our move and strike. Suddenly, the demon seat gives way. That wooden barrel just shattered completely under his massive weight. He starts cursing up a storm, wondering why the barrel is empty. Little does he know, Fa Wai is right there. Ron has shifted into his black snake form. Look over there, the demons are all gathering at the camp. I am heading to the Mount Yuan black market soon. Let us see if this loot can get us some gear. The female demon warns him that a ruthless monster already wiped that market out. He is absolutely stunned. Seriously? Suddenly, the leader feels a presence. Who is standing behind me? Gron gives the order. Target locked. Fa Wai, feel free to crush everyone else in your way. Now watch this. Fa Wai explodes out of that barrel, absolutely furious that these guys stole all the good food. The demons swarm her all at once. Their leader just mocks her, asking if she is looking for trouble. So you brought the bone crusher straight to us? Honestly, you did us a huge favor. He hands the treasure over, then suddenly plays the victim. He begs for help, claiming this woman kidnapped and tortured him. The female demon just sneers at him. What a pathetic loser. I am bored of you anyway. She sees right through Gron. Hey, handsome, I bet you are here for this bag of treasure, right? If you can take it from me, I might just make you my new favorite toy. You will forget that big-chested bone crusher in minutes. But Ron just snatches the arm holding the bag. The little demon cannot believe his eyes. In a single blink, their leader was completely shut down. Gron starts coaching her. Fa Wai, you are still fighting by instinct and relying on your old habits. You are only attacking or only defending. You need to focus on every single detail. I noticed earlier that your talent actually allows you to attack and defend at the same time. He is determined to help her master these academy styles. It is time for a high-level training session. You and I are about to see something wild. Ron bites her shoulder to inject his own power. Do not fight it. Just feel his energy moving through your body. He understands this better than anyone. As it flows, try to sense the different ways your power can actually operate. He uses a spell to guide her. I will show you once, but mastering it is up to you. Fa Wai is a fast learner. Her power explodes as she equips the Ibis Twilight armor. Gron looks satisfied. Perfect. That is exactly it. Learning a new trick feels pretty great, does it not? We have got the goods, so let us head back. Look at Sua La, sleeping right on the table. Gron warns them this item is fragile. Once it is used, it is gone. We only get one shot. You need to see exactly what happened when I faced the Demon Emperor. Fa Wai gives her word. He activates his power. The shell opens a portal to another dimension filled with thick white smoke. He warns her there are things she should not see, but she is not afraid of anything. A massive statue appears before her eyes with a heavy rope tightened around its neck. It is a statue of a merciful god, but it looks strange. Gron really does have a kind heart. She is surprised he can enter too, but this is his soul, so of course he is here. Fa Wai is ready to dive in. Let us go. But Gron tells her to wait. A rift opens. The time is now. You and I are about to see her soul split in two. She is finally seeing it. These are Gron's memories from all those years ago. After his death, Sumulus attacked, and he was helpless. Seeing him like this leaves her speechless. The villain was so confident he would return. He had a backup plan for everything. Sumulus chants the spell, forcing his soul into a demon body with elite talent. The reincarnation has begun. Let's dive in together as his soul remains eternal and his grand ambition continues. He is furious but can do nothing. No, wait, it is missing one last step and cannot take form yet. 5 finally understands the situation. So that is the truth. My sister Ron and Maravich both reincarnated because of the chaos caused by that power. She witnesses a heart-wrenching sight. Sokka lies motionless in a pool of blood, while Sumulus remains eerily calm. The cycle of reincarnation was cut short. He declares with power that he will walk the world once more. Fi is terrified. The Demon Emperor has also reincarnated, and her mind finally begins to shut down. The memory ends here. Fi has no idea where she is, and needs to tell Gron about this immediately. Where is she? Still inside his soul? In this nightmare cave, a terrifying voice echoes inside her head. The voice tells her to come this way to escape. She is instantly on guard, wondering if it is Gron speaking. It claims to be Gron, but the real one warns her do not listen to it. Do not look at it. Now pay attention here, because a massive and terrifying demon just appeared, and it looks ready to swallow her whole. Gron appears and shatters the demon's plans. He urgently shouts at her to snap out of it and get out of there, as she is blasted out of the shell. Fi is completely stunned. What kind of monster is actually living inside your soul? Ron promises an explanation later. For now, did you discover anything useful during your search? She explains what happened. He wants to know more, so she concludes that the demon emperor was eventually killed by the very power he had tried to assimilate into himself. We saw that his power was actually given to him by someone else entirely. The Eternal King's left hand steals power, while his right hand gives that stolen power away to others. Ron slams the table in rage. He absolutely hates Sumulus, that monster of a man. She predicts the situation we must capture and control him immediately after his reincarnation. If we fail, he will once again become a terrifying disaster for this entire world. Gron won't take any risks. The world still knows nothing of his power. No matter how strong someone is, facing him without intelligence will lead to certain defeat. As he draws out the details, she is still confused about what he is thinking. Gron asks about their friend, but she avoids the question because the situation was just too urgent. She changes the subject. Is Sula hungry? The girl wakes up and admits she is starving. They head off to prepare dinner together. He knows exactly why she changed the topic. Ron does not want her to hide the truth, but she finds it nearly impossible to speak. How is she supposed to tell him what she knows? Fe and Merovius go fishing and spot two people sitting by the campfire. Fi stops them from going any closer. Why stop? As a married man, can't you feel the romantic atmosphere between them? Merovius hits back with a joke that she finally found the reason why his own marriage failed. You and I both see it. The mysterious number on his left eye has finally vanished into thin air. Gron points to his eye and explains the reason. When you kill someone you never wanted to kill, the number begins to show on your face. It only disappears once you find happiness again. She is completely shocked by the truth. It has been so many years since they were last together. Since we gathered together a few months ago, you must have finally rediscovered that warm feeling of having a family again. She is blunt, but she has a delicate heart that truly cares for others. They only just met, but they are already acting like close brothers. Sokka praises her for being so kind. She is adorable. With her around, every day is a blast. Isn't it, boss? There is also you. He pauses for emphasis. Fi tries to speak carefully, suggesting Sokka might just have a very different destiny than the rest of them. Ron remains calm. It doesn't matter. She is just another blood debt to be settled. He grips the drawing and crushes it. They must pay back their debt in blood. A demon horse gallops through the border village of the Yivia kingdom. This training method, carrying heavy loads to harden the body, is something only you could think of. Brian continues to hold Sumulus tightly in his protective arms. She cries for her father. Don't worry. We will be saved as soon as your mother returns. The horse speeds up, dragging him. Sumulus speaks with a hidden, dark meaning. So, we leave it here. You and I just witnessed a world of suffering waiting to explode. Stick with me. You and I are about to see a goddess turn into an absolute monster. Brian is clueless as he's yanked back by a terrifying force. The horse demon snarls, demanding to know what's happening. Sumulus glares with eyes like lethal bullets. She loops a rope around Brian's neck, blaming her late awakening for all the senseless pain he's had to endure. She's decided to send him to the afterlife. To show her resolve, she has to kill him personally. Having awakened her true power, this sincere apology marks the start of the demon emperor Sumulus's absolute and final dictatorship. There's no humanity left in her now. Countless demons begin to swarm around her twisted form. Sumulus questions herself, wondering how her creations became so pathetic. She screams at them, demanding they wipe out flawed lives instead of just inflicting endless misery. She's still standing there lecturing them on morality, but the demons just treat it like a game. The horse demon lunges forward to shut her up, asking what kind of nonsense she's rambling about this time. Die. Her response is instant and lethal. Using a divine punishment decree, she turns the demons to ash. Suddenly, the area around her is completely cleared of any demonic presence. She can't stop thinking about Ron. Who knew that battle from 5 years ago would lead to a result like this? Ron, you really are a man I'll never forget. She's gathered so much intel. She remembers that while she was assimilating him, she saw deep into his heart. It revealed his most private thoughts to her. She feels a bit of regret. Back then, there wasn't enough time for him to understand her heart too. She's lost in her own thoughts, imagining they could have been friends. Suddenly, Sumulus's mother comes racing toward the scene, looking absolutely terrified. The mother curses herself for being too late. But as she arrives, she freezes in shock. Her daughter is standing alone in the middle of a blazing inferno. She reaches out to embrace her daughter, tears streaming down her face. She keeps apologizing, wishing she had just arrived a few minutes earlier. The mother is consumed by guilt, but Sumulus has become cold and hollow. She's watched people suffer one after another, until she felt nothing. The mother can't believe her eyes. Sumulus draws her sword right across her own neck, ending it all right in front of her mother. Now watch closely, she falls and takes her last breath. But this is a rebirth. Her supreme sin power is just beginning to stir. Sumulus acts like she's the only one who's right. She talks about transformation and saving every living soul. It's a twisted kind of salvation she's planning. Her grand plan can't be delayed. But Faye is still uneasy. Where did the Demon Emperor reincarnate? Right now, they don't have a single clue. Gron decides to prepare early. He needs to set up some defenses to stop the enemy from assimilating the two top-tier human experts. Right now, we simply don't have the strength to handle those two powerhouses. She has an idea. Maybe a soul fragment can give them a lead. Ron immediately thinks of a specific name. Are you talking about the Deathly Silence Demon Lord? Ron always thinks before he acts. He and Faye have been in contact with her for a long time. Faye's special talent can detect any lie. This demon is actually a righteous warrior who refuses to join the rest of the Ma'ator. This is their only breakthrough point right now. The soul fragment of the Demon Lord. Gron stays focused. I know what you're thinking. Can we trust a demon again? We have to remember what our ultimate goal really is here. He carves the warning into his heart. Kill the demons and wipe out the evil. They won't stop until every last one of them is hunted down. Faye notices Gron is spacing out. She asks what's wrong. He snaps back to reality, saying he was just a bit distracted. Gron finds the perfect spot on some flat ground. Faye doesn't understand his plan at all, and asks what he's trying to do there. He repeats himself. He just said it. They need to get the precautionary work done right now. He's had this planned. He summons a vampire knight to pass intel to the humans. Sula thinks vampires are just monsters from old fairy tales. Faye has only ever heard the rumors herself. She's never seen one, but she's heard about their terrifying strength. Villains would rather take their own lives than fall into a vampire's hands. Gron immediately spills blood onto the grass. The summoning circle begins to take shape. 2 hours pass, and the little girl wanders over to check on it. Ron tries to find an excuse to save face. He says it's probably been too many years since he last summoned him. So, he's not responding. Faye can't wait any longer. Her energy is drained. She tells him to wake her up the moment the vampire actually shows his face. He happily agrees. The ritual circle stays active. Sula feels a bit disappointed that nothing cool is happening. Is this for real? She wonders if those vampires are just horror stories. Suddenly, a powerful gust of wind blows right past the young girl. It takes a moment for Sula to work up the courage to look back. She exhales, but then, a sharp weapon points right at her. She screams and falls back in terror. She cries out for help, as Viron appears looking absolutely monstrous and scary. Gron immediately scolds him. He didn't call him here to scare people. He tells the little brat to get serious and focus. Viron's voice is steady. He notes that the person who knew how to use this specific ritual to call him is supposed to be dead. Now he's getting suspicious. How did they learn this? Trust me, we're just getting started with this mystery as Viron draws on the ground. Stick with me, we're about to witness a world where the blood origin talent decides who survives. This vampire knight, he definitely doesn't look like a friend. Xla quickly realizes something is very wrong. Uh-oh, it looks like he's seriously annoyed. Viren clutches his head and stands up, issuing a cold threat. I hope you'll speak the truth, otherwise I'll have to force it out of you. Ron finally speaks up, mocking the boy's dramatic flair. Not bad. A literature teacher would probably give you 80 points for that line. He looks at Viron with pure contempt. Other than your words, you're utterly pathetic and a total disappointment. The kid is left completely speechless. Professor Gron's presence is even more overwhelming than Viron's. In my class, you still don't even meet the basic requirements. Dazed, Willen tries to recover his scattered memories. Wait, could you be? Professor Gron's face suddenly flashes through his mind. A massive lecture hall appears in the middle of nowhere, but inside, someone is being held down. Viren, don't let me burn your hands. A guy in black toys with a glowing hot iron in front of him. Why? Viren can only sob and beg for mercy. My mother will see this. The psycho suddenly looks regretful. Oh, so that is how it is. Unlike the cruel Lauren clan, a normal mother would actually care. But then, he cold-bloodedly slams the iron onto the boy's hand. But what does that have to do with me? He lifts the iron to show the charred skin. Now it's time for the other hand. Just as it's about to hit, a hand reaches out and stops it. Ron grips the hot iron, looking at the guy with pure disgust. He narrows his eyes and issues a cold warning. If there's a next time, I'm calling your parents to come and drag you home. The guy is fuming, but can only point and shout. An honorary professor with no real rank dares to stand against me? A second later, the three of them are tossed outside. Gron watches them with a freezing gaze. When he steps forward, Viren quickly stops him. Wait! He pushes through the crowd, shouting as he tries to chase after Gron. Please, wait just a moment. But Gron just keeps walking away. The door slams shut before Viren can even get his words out. Thank you, teacher. Nearby, two students peeking through the glass window catch Viren's attention. Now, pay attention. This hall is packed with over 1,000 students. If you think that's small, you're totally clueless. Curious, he leans in to get a better look. That's the legendary demon slayer who fights deep in enemy territory. He rarely has time to teach. Inside, the classroom is perfectly disciplined, as long as Professor Gron is standing at the front. Everyone who wants to be a hero and fight demons is literally fighting for a spot in his classroom. Those two have their faces glued to the glass to see the drama. Look over there. Even the princes showed up for this. Vi ignores their chatter and walks away. The 6th, 7th, and 9th princes are there. But where is the 8th? That #1 handsome guy from the East Sea? He tried to force someone out of their seat, so Gron literally threw him out. Feeling down, he heads back to the trail. What could someone like me possibly have that's worth giving him as thanks? Suddenly, a bunch of vines burst out of nowhere and wrap tightly around Viren. He's hung upside down from a massive tree. It's the plant master talent. Those bullies are back to finish what they started. You feel that tension, right? Out here in the wasteland, scream all you want. Nobody is coming to save you. I'll give you one chance to live. Lure Gron to our family's territory so I can torture him. Do it, or you're dead right now. He completely loses it and curses them out. Go to hell. The guy in black gets even more excited, seeing his prey struggle. I get it now. I didn't expect you to be such a stubborn little brat. He lands a brutal punch right in Viren's face. Crushing every bone in your body is going to be a long process. Enjoy the pain. The other two are casually discussing how to handle the aftermath. Just bury him in the usual spot when we're finished. Dazed and bleeding, he still worries for his teacher. The Lauren family's torture methods are legendary for a reason. I can't let them capture Professor Gron. I have to stop them, no matter what they do to me. Viren's vision goes white. With his last bit of consciousness, he realizes he has to use his talent to escape this. A mocking voice rings in his ears before he passes out. You're too weak and scared to train your talent, so you're basically useless. His brain is sending signals of agony through his entire body. I can't breathe. Is this really where I die? Suddenly, a flash of light appears as Gron arrives just in time to catch the falling boy. He holds Viren with one hand and offers a rare compliment. Kid, you've got guts. Viren immediately warns him that the Laurens are coming for him. Where are those three? Gron doesn't look worried at all. He just glances up. They're about to land. High in the sky, the three bullies are falling at terminal velocity. They hit the ground and blood splatters everywhere in an instant, and that's where we leave it. Trust me, you and I just watched something truly chilling. Wild, right? All right, stick with me, because you and I are about to watch this professor turn a scared kid into a total beast. He tells Viren to skip the hospital and come to class tomorrow. I saw your registration. You have massive potential, but you are way too hard on yourself, kid. But professor, everyone says my power is terrifying. I am honestly too scared to even use it. Now pay attention, because this advice changes everything. If your power is terrifying, make it your enemy's nightmare. Just like that, Viren becomes his loyal shadow. Professor Gron, I cannot thank you enough. Gron really puts his heart into training this guy. That is for you to figure out. I am not your babysitter. I am too busy worrying about what to eat for dinner. On the way to class, Viren will not stop talking. My mom is making fruitcake. What fruit do you like, Professor? He just gives a half-hearted answer about strawberries. Suddenly, night falls and serious voices start to echo. Willen, are you clear on the mission? He stands tall and reports in, loud and clear. I will head out immediately to warn the other nations about the Demon Emperor. Gron keeps repeating one thing. The Demon Emperor must never get his hands on those two specific bodies. Sula looks around, confused. Who are they talking about? Faye answers instantly. Great Emperor Hao Ya and Rainstorm Duha, the twin peaks of human strength. Faye points out the bird symbol of the Great Emperor. King Anya, the man who rebuilt humanity. And the three vertical weapons? That is the signature of Rainstorm Duha, the Northern Union leader, an ultimate warrior. Meanwhile, Varan has some bad news. Duha has been in hiding for years. Finding him won't be easy. Gron looks genuinely disappointed to hear that. Is that so? I wanted to see if he still has that fire in him. Viren feels for his teacher. I get it. After all, he is the only person who ever actually defeated you in a fight. Hearing that, Gron snaps back to reality. Enough talk. Willen, you need to move out right now. Every second we waste gives the Demon Emperor an edge. Varan puts on his gear and transforms. I will not fail you, sir. He takes off into the sky. Sula just laughs. Bye-bye, little brother who looks like a mosquito. Toei Ko has some thoughts on the new look too. Honestly, that armor is kind of creeping me out. Gron just watches him fly off, his mind on the mission. With the internal drama settled, we can finally hunt for the Demon Emperor's reincarnation. The next day, Faye heads out. I need to organize the departments so they do not cause chaos while we are gone. Gron heads to the camp. It is a long journey to find the Silent Demon King, so they need supplies. I will grab 2 sturdy horses and maybe some high-quality ceramic jars. Faye freezes at that last part. And yeah, I know what you are thinking. Why jars? Gron turns around with a look that would freeze blood. If we cannot kill the Demon Emperor, I will just hack off his limbs and stuff him inside a jar. His power kills anyone he looks at, so his eyes have to go. I will pluck them right out. Since he is so persuasive, I will pull out his tongue for good measure. His bloodlust is becoming absolutely suffocating. While I am still breathing, I will keep healing him just enough so he survives like a common housefly. And after I am gone, the healers of the Compassion Cult will keep him alive for generations. Even Faye is sweating now. Honestly, I am just glad you are on our side and not theirs. Elsewhere, a couple of soldiers are gossiping. Hey, did you hear the news from yesterday? Some guy tried to challenge the fake Faye for her spot. Apparently, it was a draw, so she let him live. Golden Horn just scoffed. That commander from the mountain region is a monster. You think it was just a draw? He sounds incredibly arrogant. If I had the chance, I would have killed that fake leader myself. I should be the one on that throne. Suddenly, his friend turns pale. He is here. The goblin army behind them is terrified. Golden Horn sees someone approaching with a blade. Him? He does not scare me. But when that hand reaches out, he nearly has a heart attack. He expects a strike, but Gron just reaches past him to pet a horse. He was not even a target. Suddenly, a shout rings out. Make way. Lord Desert Fang is here. The leader walks in casually eating an apple. This is the deputy of the mountain region. Listen up, the boss is leaving. Set up a surprise send-off ceremony now. Trust me, you and I need to see what happens next. Stick with me, you and I are about to see just how messy demon politics get with this flatterer Awa. Allowing Bang to act out like this is a huge risk. If the other demon kings notice anything unusual, we are in deep trouble. Even Golden Horn cannot help but start gossiping from the sidelines. He calls him a useless coward who would not even kill a fish, claiming he would be out conquering cities every day. Blue Ear is frustrated but knows the score. When the boss is backing someone, no matter how well you fight, you bow. Before he can finish, Desert lunges over and pins his head down. Oh, so you like whispering, do you? From now on, you are just a messenger. No touching weapons for you. You got a problem with that? Golden Horn is completely overwhelmed and has to submit. Yes, Lord Desert Fang, I accept your orders. Ron has been watching quietly, finally piecing it together. It makes sense now. Faye really did think this through. Keeping these demon pests in high positions actually helps humans by recalling their armies. Killing them off now would just be a total waste. Ron watches the arrogant bully approach. All this loud showboating goes completely against the leader's policy of saving resources. He looks up and gives Desert a dry warning, saying this behavior might actually make the leader unhappy. But Desert just spits apple bits right into his face. Are you trying to tell me how to do my job? He is still fuming over Ron's attitude. Oh right, you did not bow to me earlier, did you? Lucky for you, I am a generous soul willing to give a mistake-prone kid a second chance. Ron frowns, silently wiping his face while this clown demands a kowtow. Just do it, and I will forgive you, he says. Watch this part closely. Desert gets cocky and tells Ron the ground is too hard, so he has a plan. He has them shovel over a pile of manure and points at it with a grin. Now, kowtow right here. Desert cannot stop laughing. The lackeys behind him are loving this. They are all ready to watch a humiliating show. Ron stays silent, just thinking about what a huge pain this is. Desert leans in with a creepy whisper, threatening to tattle to the boss if he does not bow. He lowers his voice, trying to scare Ron like a clueless frog in a well. Ever felt the boss's true terror? If she finds out you are being disrespectful, one roar from her will scare you to death. By then, even I would not be able to save you. Ron just glares at him, trying his absolute best to swallow his mounting rage. If he teaches this guy a lesson, he might go too far and break the bully's spirit, ruining the stalling plan. The idiot just keeps pushing. What is wrong? Scared speechless? Can't even find your words anymore? Desert grabs him by the neck and tries to shove his face into the filth. Let me help you wake up and bow. But he fails and gets tripped instead. Desert face plants into the pile of crap right in front of his crew, screaming in pure, agonizing humiliation and absolute rage. You and I both knew she was coming. Faye appears and demands to know what Desert is doing. Desert immediately runs to her to tattle. Boss, this brat refused my orders. You have to punish him severely for this. Show him who is boss. He turns back to Gron and snarls a final warning. You are dead meat, kid. But before he can even celebrate, Desert gets a brutal kick to the back of his legs and collapses right in front of Ron, too terrified to resist. Boss, why? But Faye does not hold back, shutting him down with some incredibly harsh words. If I hear one more why, you can start picking out your coffin. She walks over to Ron and commands Desert to kneel every time they meet from now on. Stay down until he's out of sight. Ron feels a bit awkward and tells Faye she is overdoing it. No need for all that drama. I was not going to kill him. Meanwhile, the goblins in the back are freaking out. What is going on? Keep it down. Based on how the boss treats him, he must be some incredibly high-level powerhouse sent by the tyrant demon king himself. Every eye is now on Desert as they start judging his pathetic state. Look at him now. Just an immigrant from the desert court who spent all day acting tough. He should have been dealt with ages ago. He finally messed with the wrong person. Now, he is stuck in a state of total, helpless despair. Who exactly is this guy to make the boss act like that? I really blew it this time. My future is over. Watching them leave, Desert tells himself he must obey every order and manage this mountain territory perfectly from now on. He needs to redeem himself through hard work. Later, Faye mentions the silent death demon king absolutely hates the emperor and will definitely give them her full support. Gron carries Sula down and simply replies, I hope you are right. For now, this is the only path we have left to take. A moment later, their horses let out a loud whinny. They ride off into the sunset to meet one of the 5 great demon kings, the ruler of the silent death court, Fan Lin. That night, Medinicus finally appears. Trust me, you and I do not want to miss what comes next. The moonlight cuts through the clouds and shines into the room. I feel at peace now that my eternal court is leading the demons through their first major steps. Tu rests his chin on his hand, his eyes cold and sharp as he gazes into the empty distance. Slaughtering tools cannot replace humanity or rule the world. Only a true, new civilization can hope to accomplish that. Now, even the lowest demons have developed emotions. This is the absolute core of building a brand new civilization. All right, you and I are watching Tu push for the next stage of their civilization. Even as a representative's words turn the entire room ice cold, humans who make great contributions are worshipped as gods after they die, and the demons plan to follow suit. They believe every demon should worship the demon emperor as their supreme god. That is General Agricola, speaking from his seat. Victory must be followed by more victory. Sometimes the dead are much more useful to us than the living. Urat, the cruel demon king with a sword above his head, agrees that they must drench the earth in war once again. I have no opinion on this. Only Minute, the barren demon king who turns food to dust, dares to challenge him. He tells Tu that since he already has his son's support, he does not need to pretend to ask for his father's opinion. Then there is the death silence demon king, Fen Ling, who is clearly annoyed and just wants to be left alone. She asks what their demon business has to do with her and why they even bothered to invite her here to be a buzzkill. Finally, Tu, the eternal demon king, speaks up to remind her that the glory belongs to the first demon's son. He says he understands her position and won't force her to abandon the ways of the old era just yet, though she still glares at him. Now, pay attention, because Tu believes that one day she will finally understand his true vision for the future of their world. He claims his goal is world renewal, not human extinction. Fen Ling bows slightly and leaves the room while Tu continues to urge his leaders. He tells the group that their meeting will continue. The business of the demon race must go on. On a dusty road, horses gallop toward the cruel court, crossing into a lawless and dangerous territory with every stride. Ron leads the charge to keep watch, while the red aura of Viron stays active in the sky above them. Meanwhile, the vampire knight Willen has been flying for days without sleep to warn humans about the demon emperor's rebirth and his terrifying powers. Finally, he reaches the kingdom of Ania and its wartime capital, the City of Light. Inside the castle, the Prime Minister tells Willan that there is no need for him to be so quiet and reserved. They do not care much for formal courtly manners in this kingdom. Willan is completely exhausted but tries to explain that he is just naturally quiet and also incredibly hungry right now. The old man tells him the king is currently eating and he should just go report his findings to him directly in the dining room. You and I are finally seeing the great Emperor Hao-Na for the first time as Willan cautiously steps through those open doors. Is he a blood-soaked tyrant who killed his own family for the crown? Or is he something else entirely? The man inside greets Willan very casually while he eats, asking if he is indeed the famous vampire knight. This is the king of Anaya, the man who restored humanity. He laughs, saying his 8th son spoke very highly of Willan's skills. He admits he was too busy to attend the knighting ceremony years ago, but he is glad to meet now. Hao-Na points to a nearby chair, noting that their first meeting has happened at a very convenient time. He invites him to join him for dinner. The Prime Minister notes that despite his lack of majesty, the king is truly sincere. The king is pleased and tells his Prime Minister to record everything on the White King book. He orders the old man to write it down immediately. Right then, 2 very important items are finally revealed. The White King book is used to record the great achievements and good deeds of every king in their history. The Black King book is the opposite, recording every mistake and evil act committed by the monarchs of Anya. Hao-Na serves him food, joking that his Prime Minister usually only uses the Black Book to criticize him, so this rare compliment is special. Willan watches him with suspicion, thinking that this emperor is nothing like the terrifying monster he had imagined. He reports on the Demon Emperor and the 5 heroes. The king tells him not to worry about manners and just eat while he talks. Within minutes, the plate of soup is nearly empty, with only a few drops left. Hao-Na scrapes the plate while they discuss heavy matters of state. He realizes he and Yuha must stop killing to avoid being corrupted by the reborn Demon Emperor's power, which can assimilate anyone. Willan asks about Yuha, and the king just sighs while eating a piece of plain bread with a tired look. He hides on Kayan Island with his troops, and trust me, you and I must see what he's really doing there. All right, you and I are jumping into a story where trust is rarer than gold. 3 years, 8 months, and 27 days later, Hao-Na finishes his meal and mentions sending a spy. Suddenly, Minister Te enters with a report. Your Majesty, the spy you sent to the demon territory has returned and is requesting an immediate audience. Hao-Na does not rush to answer, instead turning to Viren. It is fine, he says. There is no need for you to hide your face. He trusts Viren's character, but the knight politely refuses. He thanks the emperor for his trust, but argues that staying during an official audience just would not be right. Hao-Na stands up immediately, following right after Viren. Fine then, I will show you to the guest room myself, since you had a long journey. Viren is stunned. A majesty like you going in person? He suggests a servant should lead the way, never expecting the emperor to be this humble with his words. It is lunch hour, and Hao-Na thinks calling servants would be a bother. Viren has no choice but to walk and talk along the way. He asks if the emperor trusts this spy enough to give him intelligence regarding the demon emperor himself. Hao-Na agrees, noting that while the boy is capable, a human spy is much better suited for this specific mission. As he finishes, the royal spy of Anya Limersdab drops to one knee in a formal salute. Your Majesty, I have brought critical military intel from the war and torture courts, plus data from Mount Ma Vian. Along the way, I even wiped out a squad of enemy recruits. Now watch this. The spy's reaction when he sees Viren is absolutely priceless. His jaw literally hits the floor. Majesty, why is a vampire knight here? Hao-Na just glances between them and decides to act as the bridge between these two. You two have not met yet, have you? Let me introduce you. Hao-Na points from Golden Horn over to Viren to reveal their identities. This is Will Lan, Lord of Lauren Valley, and a high-tier vampire knight. And this man is my trusted subordinate, a royal spy known as Lursov. Inside the room, Viren thinks it over. Why on earth is a demon working for someone like Hao-Na? Outside, the spy continues his report to the emperor without missing a single beat. The war court is gathering an army. Most tribes in the east are part of their faction and will likely answer the call. Leaving the room, Golden Horn passes on a message. Will Lan, the emperor needs to arrange troops, so I will take you to rest. When he gets no reply, the demon is shocked. What? You do not trust me? Viren admits it straight. A demon acting this dedicated to humanity? To be honest, anyone would find that hard to believe. Golden Horn loses the argument and quickly shifts the topic. Let me correct you. It is not dedication. It is a job. Viren mocks him. You would betray your own kind just for money? But the demon actually treats it like a proud achievement. Let's pause for a second. This demon's philosophy is actually pretty twisted, right? In this era of war, experts like you take center stage. Weaklings like us just need to find a backer and make some cash while things are chaotic. As for being human or demon, Golden Horn pulls out 2 gold bars with a sly, questioning smile. Can you tell which of these belongs to a demon and which to a human? He cuts Viren off before the knight can even answer. Let them fight all they want. It has nothing to do with me. Then, he lets out a fake sigh. I just want to save up and leave this war-torn place for a better life on the Lunaya continent. Viren stays unmoved by the act. How ironic. Is this the price we pay for the growth of civilization? A selfish coward hides among a field of killers. Instead of getting angry, the demon agrees. Curse me all you want. Since I have taken the profit, I deserve the hate. I am not like those hypocrites who chase greed while trying to keep everyone else quiet. Just thinking about those dirty deeds makes me sick. His face brightens as he mentions someone important. Speaking of selfishness, I remember your teacher, Gron. Now that man is a true selfless example, a real hero who fights for the innocent and hunts down evil without hesitation. Viren cannot stand the attitude and snaps. Just say what you want. Stop the fake praise before the insults. The demon looks down at Viren and slows his speech. Is he really that noble and selfless? Does he have no desires? Or do his desires just happen to align with being a hero? He can play both roles at once. Golden Horn's eyes turn icy and emotionless. Who knows what dark secrets he is hiding deep inside? He spits out the insults, suggesting the man might be lying to himself. Viren snaps, pressing a sword to his throat. Viren's eyes change color as his voice drops to sub-zero. You better think very carefully about your next words, and that's where we leave it. Trust me, you and I are going to want to see what happens next. All right, you and I are jumping into a world where even a legend's ghost holds weight. I loved that man. He killed the demons that tormented me as if he were taking revenge on my behalf. He jams the blade back against Golden Horn's throat, demanding answers. Give me that theory of yours. Right now, the guy stammers, terrified to disobey. It is just a hypothesis. Imagine if he had survived last year. What would have happened then? When forced to choose between the greater good and his own selfish desires, which path would a hero like him take? The horses stop to drink at a remote lake as Ron stares at the map, his face twisted in pure frustration. Moving at this pace, we still have at least half a month before we finally reach the king's royal court. Sula is distracted, cleaning her pet frog. Luckily, this place is so empty we haven't even spotted any demon bandits yet. As Fia cooks nearby, Gron gives the young girl a serious warning. Never let your guard down out here. Use this time to learn how to defend yourself. Tell me, do you have a seal talent? Sula pauses to think. Maybe, but Grandpa and I were always running from the demon wars. I never really had a chance to test it. She smiles innocently, mentioning that she can somehow forge iron much faster than even her grandfather ever could. It feels like a hidden force is helping her. Hearing this, Ron immediately starts drafting a brutal training plan for her. If you never tap into your own potential, a talent like that will stay buried forever. You are likely using your power unconsciously already, even if you do not realize it yet. That is fine. Crisis usually forces it out. Let's start with the basics of Seal Force. The girl nods, ready to learn. Yes, sir. He likes her attitude. Listen, as long as you are alive, your heart will never stop creating Seal Force. It flows invisibly through your entire body, a power without any physical form. Now, pay attention here. This is where the training gets real. Gron's gaze turns sharp as he breaks down the 4 core stages. Mobilizing means focusing your energy into specific body parts. Enhancement is about temporarily boosting your total power levels. But beware, it strains the heart. Release is when you push that energy out past the surface of your skin. Finally, shaping allows you to mold energy into different physical forms. His mind drifts back to that shadow he took down in the blink of an eye. When I only had a single seal, I could pierce a chest just by focusing power into my hand. That is mobilizing. Next, we see opponents completely lose their cool just from the pressure of his aura. Usually, making energy visible requires a snake blood seal, which also grants the user heat-sensing thermal vision. Gron remembers how Fei once resisted his thunder by using enhancement to massively boost her total power. She increased her energy density until her entire body became as indestructible as a mountain of rock. He aims for a body like iron armor. And, for this next part, that is called shaping. It involves molding energy outside the body into a protective hollow layer. Just watch right here. I use shaping and my bloodline talent to create a snake, then release it to strike on its own. After the lecture, he crosses his arms and watches Sula. Now, Let's see you try basic mobilizing. Feel the energy and push it toward your hand. She swings her arms wildly. Yes. Mobilizing. Gron sighs, telling her she does not need to yell. Suddenly, her hand erupts in bright flames. We both saw that coming. She is a natural. Gron checks her power and realizes she is truly gifted. Now, pull out your hammer and swing it. Does it feel lighter? She beams with joy, lifting the tool effortlessly. It really does. Ron doesn't waste a second. Now, try coating your hammer with that same energy. Many sword techniques work like this, though energy naturally weakens when pushed into outside objects. He draws his blade to show her that special weapons are the only exceptions to the rule. Gron barks another order at her. All right, now practice your defense. Keeping your life is priority number 1. Your energy is limited, so focus on one spot. Harden your arm until the flesh and bone are like iron. He rests the blade against her arm. I am only going to use a tiny bit of force. He tells her to defend. Surprisingly, she does not panic at all. I am ready, uncle. She trusts him completely, knowing he will stop the blade the moment her defense shatters. Right? But Gron's next words make her break into a cold sweat. Don't worry, I will heal your arm after I cut it off. Sula freezes as the blade drops. Stick with me, we are about to see if she survives this brutal lesson. You and I are about to see a new power awaken. The sword stops as the Canyon Legion bites down to block the blade. These are the talent seals of the Canyon Legion. Once they are released, they start dancing happily right in Sula's hand. Humans only explode with potential during a crisis. Sula excitedly hugs the Canyon Legion, realizing she can mobilize them just like this. But what comes next? You won. You won frowns, desperately searching his memory for the right instructions. He strokes his chin in deep thought, trying to remember the talent seal sequence: mobilize, release, and then shape. If he uses reinforcement, it will probably cause them to grow to a massive size. But for a beginner, that could cause a heart attack. Try release and shaping instead. Sula follows his lead and releases her seal power. They fall and land right on Fea. Gron notices them sitting on her armor and continues his lesson. Now, she needs to use her imagination to shape them through the talent seal, turning that seal power into a physical reality. Sula listens and begins focusing her mana, ready to give it her best shot. Gron sees the Canyon Legion patrolling and tells her to give them more seal power to see if they can function automatically. This is the basics of extraction, but she will have to train hard on her own. Fea and Sula can't stop staring at them. A moment later, Gron reminds her that with her forging skills, awakening an acquired seal was always going to happen eventually. Sula is confused, so Gron patiently explains that an acquired seal is a very different beast. By reaching the absolute peak of any field through hard work, you can eventually awaken this rare power. It is basically like a talent seal, but almost no one ever gets one. Suddenly, the Canyon Legion notices birds panicking far off. Now, pay attention, because something just spooked those birds. Gron yells to put out the fire immediately. Something over there has startled them, and the blackbirds have already tracked their location. Nearby, Ran reports back to Knight Commander Lilo. There are no pursuers in sight, so it should be safe for them to rest here. Instead of a thank you, Lilo snaps at him. He warned him not to use his title in public in case someone identifies them. Sora looks at Princess Yvette's body with a look of pure anxiety. The princess is unconscious and badly hurt. If they are found now, they have zero strength to fight off the demons. Meanwhile, Fea is watching. Demon outcasts are scattered all over this no man's land, constantly killing each other over territory. Fea wonders which rich family this young lady belongs to and why she would dare to come here. Gron recognizes her as the 9th princess, Yvette. He met her while teaching, and knows she is the most ambitious of the foster children. Fea just smirks, asking how he could possibly know she is so ambitious after only meeting her a few times. Gron explains that Maravik told him, since he is very familiar with the politics of Anya. But why is she in this wasteland? And how did someone with her power get injured this badly? Lilo is exhausted and collapses to the ground to rest, while Sora nervously stutters a warning. He wants to find water before they stop, but Lilo just gets angry and starts throwing things. He tells the stutterer to shut up, blaming these two useless failures for ruining the special mission and getting the princess hurt. The queen is also heavily wounded. Lilo grumbles in frustration, completely unaware of the snake stalking him from behind. His family spent a fortune to get him into the Royal Knights, just so he could be near the princess. He tries to lick the last drops of water from his flask, cursing the luck that brought him to this middle of nowhere. Lilo throws the flask away, complaining about searching for Gron's missing arm. Hearing this, Gron and Fea share a look. You saw that look too, right? Gron is definitely planning to use that severed arm to evolve into a new form. He doesn't even try to hide it. He tells her they need that power right now. He is talking about that creepy vine field and its strange energy. Ran and Sora are still struggling to pull Yvette's stretcher. Ran apologizes for being a useless scout. If he had found intel on that great demon sooner, the princess wouldn't be hurt. Lilo just sits there and sneers at them, calling them both pathetic trash. Sora is exhausted but tries to comfort Ran, saying Gron's severed arm is the most important intel they have for the princess. Ran knows this too. It was exclusive information he bought from a broker connected to Lursdorf. They keep pulling the stretcher with gritted teeth, but suddenly, a hand reaches out and grabs the rope. Ran is speechless as the Knight Commander himself takes over the heavy lifting. Trust me, you and I are going to want to see how this mission ends. He says Anya Knights never quit, and water is ahead. Stick with me, we are entering a major crisis. Ran asks how he knows, but he just snaps. I said it is there. Suddenly, Yvette coughs up a spray of black blood. Ran turns pale at the sight. Yvette, your highness, she collapses in agonizing pain, while he frantically urges Sora to save her. Heal her right now. The young healer stutters through a spell, reaching out with trembling hands. I am trying to use it, but Sora is completely drained. My power has not recovered since the last battle. I have nothing left. Suddenly, a loud voice echoes from behind them. Hey, you people. Ron and Fea walk up with total confidence. Ran immediately fires 2 arrows. Be careful, they are demons. But he blocks them easily. Calm down. We are the peace-loving type. Ron shows his goodwill by summoning a powerful healing spell. Now pay attention, because they are about to make a deal. We just want to trade. Tell me the truth about Gron's severed arm, and I will save her life. His hand glows with an intense light. Liro hesitates but finally agrees. Fine, just heal her. Ron begins the treatment but quickly realizes how severe her condition is. A great demon did this? Minutes later, Yvette coughs up red blood this time. Liro snaps and raises a fist. What the hell are you doing? Ron just looks back with pure contempt. He shoves Liro away. Her wound just closed, so do not move yet. Yvette finally wakes up. Sora is totally stunned. This healing level matches the legendary Demon King Minotaur himself. That is elite tier magic. Liro immediately turns and yells at Ran. You only know how to fight. Apologize to them now. Ran can only manage a weak protest against the command. Seeing them communicate makes her feel safe. Thank you for stepping in and saving my life. Ron does not waste time. Now it is your turn to give me what I need. Yvette humbles herself. Whatever Liro promised, I will pay it back for him. But even she falls silent once she hears the actual request. He wants the arm. Yvette refuses instantly. Not that. Anything but that. Fine. Then your subordinates will tell me. Yvette screams at Liro to stay quiet. Liro scratches his head and backtracks. Sorry, this involves humans. I cannot say a word. She begs him to pick anything else. But then, Yvette feels something strange. You and I saw this coming. He is done playing nice. He grows massive and threatens them. Either tell me where Gron's arm is, or watch her die from my poison. Yvette staggers, barely standing. This little poison won't stop me. She says he is just bluffing. But Liro is caught in the middle. I only need 2 minutes for my power to return. But Ron keeps the pressure on. Think, Liro. How will you explain her death to the noble king back home? Liro clutches his head in despair. What do I do? Ron starts walking away. He admires her pride and says he will not force them. But Liro stops him. Wait, Yvette tells him to let the demon go. He is just playing games with us. She grinds her teeth through the pain. My power is returning. He is the one who should be nervous. Fea asks if this is okay. Ron seems to know their every move. Anya royals aren't weak. Her men will only think she's acting tough. Wait, finally, Liro cracks. The arm of Gron is in the hands of General Chietni. He was a top general for the very first Demon King, Ban. After his leader fell, he fled to the deep forest as a bandit. He stole the arm for himself. Our secret intel confirms he still has it in his possession. The princess wanted the hero's body back to boost morale, but Chietni was too dangerous. Trust me, you and I just found the real villain. He actually merged that arm with his own body. All right, you and I are jumping straight into the chaos. Our team just got crushed, and the prince is down. Ron finally has the lead he needs. He demands the location, and the captive points west toward the sunset. They are resting at the Bull Mud ruins. Fe and Gron immediately huddle up to plan their next move. Going west to the Dead Kingdom means crossing Bull Mud. But that monster Jeji, I doubt we can handle him. We need a better plan. Liro is panicking. begging Ron to heal the prince now that he gave up the info. But Ron just ignores him, grabbing Faye by the hand instead. Seeing them flirt drives Lero absolutely insane. You cowardly animals, come back here. Finally, Ivet stands up and orders Lero to stay where he is. Relax, Lero. Put the sword away. He finally turns to check on her. Princess, are you all right? Yvette is clearly annoyed. I told you. This tier R poison is nothing. I will be back on my feet soon. Lero drops to his knees immediately. Forgive me, princess. I was a fool to think I was being clever. Sora and Ran are terrified for him. Breaking military orders? That is a death sentence. What happens to him now? The law says punishment, and they are ready to beg for mercy. But Ivet just reaches out and helps him up. Stand up. She pats his shoulder, taking the blame herself. This was not your fault. I should have explained it better. Ivet is calculating. We do not have to worry about Gron's arm yet. Those demons are no match for Jeji. We need to stay calm and find a way to beat Jeji. The soldier just nods and repeats his catchphrase. Suddenly, his sharp ears pick up a terrifying sound. Stay sharp, here is where the real fight begins. A ghost-like cloth drifts through the air. She reacts instantly, shouting orders to form a sharp wedge formation. A voice booms from the distance. Found them. These are the 4 targets Jeji put a bounty on. It is the Skin Hunter Brotherhood, led by the White Ghost himself. These guys are the worst of the worst. That brute Jeji only wants their heads. The rest? The skins are ours to keep for our collection. Using the Earth Lord talent, his men are moving like a blur. The subordinates are howling with sick excitement. Hey partners, let's bet on which one stays alive the longest while being skinned. I am winning this time. Yvette checks her energy. Lero, hold this position until my power returns. We cannot afford to move an inch. He grips his sword, ready for orders. She warns him that the leader is a master of wide-range energy control. He can manipulate his entire army to move at godlike speed, making their mobility incredibly dangerous. If we split up, we are dead. The Question Ghost smirks, asking his boss to let him weaken them first. White Ghost laughs and gives the green light. Go ahead, show them what you can do. They have no idea what your talent is. This is going to be a total slaughter. He shouts his riddles so everyone can hear. A rooster hatches from a normal egg, but it speaks like a man. Where on the Solis continent did this bird come from? He does not even give them time to think. 3, 2, 1. No answer in 3 seconds means you are wrong, and being wrong means you die. Wait for it, this is a rule-type talent. Get the riddle wrong, and your energy gets sucked dry instantly. Every second they hesitate, the bugs crawl over them, draining their life force. Lero grinds his teeth in pain. Damn it, it is a rule talent. Are we really going to just wither away and die like this? Zoran is losing it. I do not want to go out like this, shriveled up like a dead pig. Ran snaps, aiming his crossbow at the source. This magic is unbreakable, so I will just kill the caster. Stop. Do not waste your arrows. He is moving too fast for you to land a hit at this range. She is right. They are flickering around like lightning. As long as the boss is here, you cannot touch us. The leader is loving the chaos, but his subordinate is already planning a betrayal. He wants all the power. My talent is invincible. Once I absorb enough energy to reach tier 2, I am making my move. I just need to steal his speed. After that, this loud-mouthed idiot is useless to me. The ghosts charge in like a tidal wave. Our heroes are frozen in terror until a white-haired shadow appears. I told you, your wounds are still fresh. Do not go pushing yourself too hard just yet. Ron casually cleaves through the demons, his body erupting into a terrifying form of pure lightning. And that is our alliance gift to you. Trust me, you and I are going to love this duo. Before moving on, she makes her goal clear. A chance for us to cooperate has finally appeared. Stick with me, we're about to see a plan to take down Trietni and steal Gron's arm. Suddenly, a series of massive explosions rips through the area. Gron continues his evolution, jumping from a second to a third mark. Even he is shocked by this snake-molting form. White Ghost arrives to help Question Ghost, vowing to hold him back while the questions start, but his sandstorm is blocked. No matter how fast you are, you're just a headless fly now. He smiles and prepares the first riddle. My name is Tuchi, and I have 3 older brothers named Daikot, Nikot, and Tamkot. So, what is the 4th brother's name? His voice echoes through the storm until Gron finally answers. 4Kot. But Question Ghost just smirks. Wrong, it's Tuchi. A riddle parasite immediately latches onto his arm. Ron spots 3 dots, ancient snake, bloodline, and heat vision. Suddenly, Question Ghost's body temperature begins to skyrocket. With a lightning strike, he vomits something up. Ron grabs his throat, growling, I said, the name is 4Kot. Lero's crew is panicking now. He's too strong and brutal. I really hope I didn't offend this guy. White Ghost watches with pure excitement. It's rare to find such a powerful kid in this lawless zone. Incredible. He slams his foot down, activating his Master of Earth talent and the armed fortress power. Now, pay attention, because a massive sand castle rises. I'm telling you, the scale here is absolutely insane. Standing at the top, White Ghost screams down, "I'll make sure to turn you into a beautiful trophy." Ron barely dodges a white blur shooting from the gate. He counterattacks, but his allies are already losing hope. It's over. They built a whole city. How do we fight a moving fortress? Am I seeing things? VA just sighs at the waste of power. Moving a city like that is just empty-headed showing off. A second later, the entire fortress begins to shake violently. The mobile fortress accelerates. White Ghost calls out to his brothers to surround everyone from 3 sides. As he speaks, hordes of demons begin crawling out from every direction. A war? We thought we were fighting the evil dragon. Why call us out for these weaklings? Ivet snaps at being called a weakling, while Ran cries to Sora about her unspent allowance. This is the end. Only Liro stays focused, telling the princess she finally has enough power for her mark. Ron releases his form and relaxes. Fine. I guess we can take a little break for now. Ivet grows massive and charges into the crowd, snatching one of the enemies by the head. Cosmic talent. Now, who's the weakling? She squeezes until the demon's face contorts in pure agony. Ivet swings her blade in a brutal arc. As blood stains the steel, the others start gossiping. You and I have seen some wild tactics, but using your enemy as a sword? If they're convenient to hold, she's turning them into a literal weapon of war. Suddenly, Ivet becomes the primary target. Fire. Everyone fire your arrows at her now. She calmly tosses a new weapon, slamming the White Ghost directly into his own fortress walls. He's furious, but then his vision goes dark. Giant Ivet raises her sword and splits the castle in 2. The strike is so powerful, the land behind the fortress is carved open without hesitation. Gron looks back and notices something strange, a pair of wings glowing brilliantly in the setting sun. Flying demons target Ivet. That's the evil dragon, a year old, but already famous for its bloodlust. Faye A and Ron just watch. It doesn't seem interested in us, luckily, or this would be a nightmare. A battle with that thing would be brutal. We need to stay extremely careful. She suddenly appears and bows to them, accepting the duo as powerful allies for the mission. Ivet wants a piece of the pie. Team up against Triet and I, and split Gron's arm 50-50. Gron agrees, but they're both thinking the same thing. No way I'm sharing anything with you. The plan is to steal it the moment the other lets their guard down. Night falls by the river. Sula's group is eating and laughing, while Ivet's side just sits there in awkward, silent tension. She stands up with a warning, always watch those 2 demons. They're definitely planning something. I'll go talk to them. Liro nods, ready to redeem himself. You and I are going to love the betrayal coming next. All right, you and I are jumping right back in as. Yet spots a young girl. He wonders if she is their slave, but Sula shouts out that the big sister has finally arrived. Meanwhile, these 2 knights are completely ignoring their dignity just to eavesdrop on the gossip. It feels wrong using the remains of hero Gron to trade with demons. Honestly, if it were the body of the unblemished knight commander, it would be even worse for everyone. Exactly. Unblemished Knight Marov is not just a role model for Ania's knights. Liro fanboys hard, calling him his ultimate idol. The man has survived countless brutal battles without a single scar on his body. Truly legendary. Liro dreams of having a handsome face, just like his flawless. Meanwhile, Merovius glances at Sora before looking at the cake. Is that Anya cheese? Mind if I have a bite? He gives a bitter, self-deprecating smirk. It has been years since I was home. I really miss this taste. But the girl stays on guard against him. No way. My mom bought this for me, and it was expensive. Suddenly, Liro sees Merovius and jumps back in shock, shouting, "Who are you? When did you get here?" Liro's voice trembles with disbelief. Is he a demon? Merovius just smiles and removes his hood, saying, "That is right." Liro finally shouts to the others, "Hey, is this demon a friend of yours?" All 4 of them turn around at once to look. Merov silently draws 2 swords. With a few quick slashes, several fingers are sliced clean off. Flowing water sword technique. The 3 scream, clutching their bleeding hands. Faye and Gron rush over when they hear that specific technique being used. A tall, dark figure catches his eye once more. It is Merovius Imero, standing there looking completely unbothered by the chaos. Ivet is in a fighting stance. He speaks clearly, "Ninth Princess of Ania, I am here on my master's orders to capture you." The cheese on the ground is already half soaked in blood, She hesitates before turning back to ask for help. This demon knows the unblemished knight's techniques. His power might be second only to the best. Help me out, ally. She suddenly grabs Yet's arm to stop her. Wait, there must be a misunderstanding. Let them talk for a second. Meanwhile, Gron steps up to Merovius. He keeps an expressionless face, while the other gives a mysterious smile. Merovius just scoffs with his eyes closed. So it is you. I was wondering who had such intense killing intent. He openly points a finger to insult Faye. You are Gron, so you must be Faye? You have grown big, just like your sister. She is so annoyed, she cannot even find the words. Fa finally admits that when it comes to recognizing people, these two act closer than actual blood brothers. Now watch this. Merovius strikes hard. Faye, you two be careful. At the moment of impact, the truth comes out. He was trying to make us lower our guard. He transforms into a black dragon and hovers above. The eternal night dragon's sole talent. Can you not just take it easy and let me finish my mission smoothly? Merovius growls a warning. Do not get in my way. Realizing they won't budge, he shifts back and asks, have you seen my face? 5 years ago I trusted you. Yet here I am. He grips his blade, his voice dropping to a sarcastic whisper. Look at my face. The perfect knight Merov, who survived countless wars without a scratch. What a total joke when you see me now. His emotions spiral out of control. This state is all because of you. Faye rushes forward, screaming at him. Calm down, Mero. Merovius just laughs with pure contempt. Calm? He immediately swings his sword, unleashing the flowing water technique. I only need to stay calm enough to finish my master's orders. That is more than enough. She is badly hurt because she could not activate her skill in time. You keep saying, Master, you have clearly been brainwashed. Fine, I will say it. Fa throws a punch to snap him out of it. Merovius instantly activates his Dragon Soul talent, Whitebone Tower. I have always been awake, Faye. She hits nothing but air. Faye grits her teeth as he uses the mist to bend reality. You and I can see he is using light refraction to hide his body. He has definitely learned some new tricks. Gron warns them while healing. Ivet, get over here. He is targeting you. Suddenly, Gron stops. His heat-sensing vision is active. He launches a surprise attack. Merovius does not hesitate, summoning Sacred Fire, Flowing Water Technique, imprisoning Fire Dragon. Standing at the center, Gron assesses the situation. He has been watching us. He already has a counter-strategy ready. My heat vision is useless here, yet clenches her fist, wondering which direction he will attack from. Gron stays silent and calm. Faye, were you not practicing a new way to use your shield earlier? Well, now is the time to show it. She summons the Ibios talent. Dawn Shield Defense. Dawn Shield. Ash Web. This is her newest move. Lero grimaces, stammering out a question. Can anyone use a healing spell right now? Sora clutches his injured hand, crying out that it hurts too much to focus. Then, a cold blade stabs into the ground right next to his cheek. He gives a chilling smile. I do not want to kill innocents, so I only crippled your hands. Do not waste my kindness. As sacred fire surrounds them, Merovius pulls back. It is airtight, isn't it? Stick with me to see what is next. Stick with me, because you and I are about to see how this crazy battle finally breaks. Lero roars in pure rage, his voice cracking from the intensity. They just called you Mero, right? You are just a filthy demon. So how do you even dare to carry the name Mer? Merovius laughed it off, amazed by the guy's guts to insult him in a situation like this. The knight just gets even more furious. You have insulted my idol's name, and if I do not curse you out, I am unworthy of being an Anya knight. Merovius shoots back with a cold question. Do you know your idol Mero fought his whole life for the title of first knight, but died as a second? Can you even guess why that happened? His face darkens. It is because the title of first knight is strictly reserved for the king's firstborn son. Merovius transforms into his dragon form. In the demon world, strength is everything. If I am strong enough, I could even become the new demon emperor. He spreads his wings and takes flight. Meanwhile, Gron's group is still trapped, surrounded by a wall of intense flames. Watching him fly past, the leader gives an order. Ivet, if he spots an opening above us, you make your move. Merovius lands right near them. Ivet immediately seizes the chance to activate her celestial talent seal. A massive, magically enlarged sword is launched straight at him. He is not afraid at all, calling the attack nothing more than a cheap trick. Now watch this part closely, because Gron is actually riding that giant sword. He erupts with killing intent and launches a direct assault. In a single breath, they clash. Gron swings his blade without hesitation, unleashing the first form of the Thunder Pillar sword technique. Simon witnesses the entire battle from a distance. He puts down his binoculars and clicks his tongue in sheer amazement. Unbelievable. The evil dragon actually lost in such a clumsy way. Capturing the 9th princess is definitely not going to be easy. Faye walks over, her brow furrowed with suspicion. It is strange. Did he really just retreat like that? He was holding back. He did not even use his true talent seal. Gron realizes this was all just a performance between the two of them. Merovius had laughed and asked if his face was visible. At the same time, Faye asks, "Brother Mero, does this not hurt you?" He looks in the mirror and says any pain is worth it. Merovius waves a feather around, calmly explaining his plan. "It is rare to meet a high-level demon who can actually leave a scar on me during a fight. I have to take good care of this scar, so it looks incredibly cool and imposing." Apparently, using a feather on a fresh wound is a folk trick to make a scar look wider. He smiles with absolute confidence. If the future First Knight of Anya has a face that is too clean, it will be hard to make people respect him. She leans in and asks why he did not just cut himself if he wanted a scar. Merovius looks disgusted by the idea. You can lie to other people, but you can never lie to yourself about something like that. Only wounds from a real, all-out battle actually mean something. He stares into the mirror, whispering that he wants recognition from everyone. His voice drops low. "I want to respect myself too." But suddenly, healing magic hits him and he sighs. "Boss Gron, you are here?" Gron pulls his hand back and demands to know why he did not mention being injured. You and I can probably guess his reaction as he screams about his ruined cool scar. He reminds Gron that they have to keep acting. Gron admits that Merovius is stronger now, but looking the part mostly depends on his acting skills. Ron finally speaks up. "Faye, what was the secret signal between you two? That hand-chopping scene looked way too real." Faye grumbles that there was no signal and it hurt like hell. She feels like he has changed, especially regarding the master he mentioned. Gron lets out a tired sigh and mutters to himself. He has not changed and would never serve a master. Using that word is just an excuse to shift blame and create an easy way out. Simon stands on the cliffside and speaks. "Lord Evil Dragon, it seems you have failed your mission." Merovius snorts, blaming Simon for giving him bad intelligence. "You said there were only 4 humans." The old man laughs mockingly. "Plans rarely keep up with reality, my friend. Yesterday, they were only 4, but who can guarantee no surprises would happen?" Merovius impatiently cuts him off. "Look at the situation. That demon who injured me is at least at the 5 seal level. The risk is just too high. I am not taking this job anymore." Merovius demands that Simon tell his boss he needs more help if they want the 9th princess captured alive. Simon is intrigued. What kind of help? More money? Merovius demands the secret potion to break through to level 6. Simon's face turns dark instantly. "Do not be too greedy. 10 bottles? Those are refined using the master's own power. Top knights only get 1 bottle every 6 months, so you and I know he is asking for the impossible. All right, you and I are diving into a world where power comes at a price, literally. If he can't handle the massive pressure of seal force, his body will explode." Merovius isn't happy about it. "Can't I hoard some for myself? Without these potions to boost my power quickly, I stand no chance against the 9 Princesses Association." He narrows his eyes to bargain. 10 bottles is crazy. The association would definitely notice something that big. "At most, I can give you 1 bottle." Ron sighs. "Fine. 5 bottles. That is my final offer. Now, pay attention here, because this negotiation is getting heated." Xmong snaps in anger. "Stop talking nonsense. 1 bottle is all you get. 4 bottles. 1, 3 or I'm gone. 2. Merovius shouts. "Deal." Ron smiles. He's definitely won this round. 2 bottles then, keep your word. Until I get them, I'm only going to monitor the 9 princesses. The night sky is draped in silver stars. Ron gazes into the distance. He's got his own plans. We just need to do our part. Rest tonight. Tomorrow we head for the Mudox town. Ives approaches suddenly. "Lord Ron," or should I say, Physician Y. Physician Y looks back. What is it? He decides it's finally time to tell them the truth about his identity. As they listen to the revelation, every single one of them is completely stunned. Liro bows deeply, apologizing to the 2 lords and Lady Sula for their past disrespect. She kneels too, showing her true gratitude. "Lord Ron, you've helped us 3 times now. We have nothing to give back. It's honestly shameful." Sula gasps, telling them to stop. Such a formal greeting? Ron just gives a cold, indifferent command. "From now on, just work with us to reclaim the arm of the evil child. That's all I need." Yvette agrees instantly. "We follow your lead." Ron tells them to stand up and rest for tomorrow's fight. Gron tosses wood onto the pile and rakes it. "Light it up. My hands are getting a bit stiff." The girl chirps on it. The temperature drops so fast at night, we'd freeze without a campfire to keep us warm. Sula snaps her fingers, activating an ancient fire god's skill, the signature ignition technique. Mana flows through her fingertips as she chants. It's a common spell used by blacksmiths and travelers alike. The fire roars to life, casting a bright red glow. The group sleeps while Ron stays awake on watch duty. Sora approaches him hesitantly. Lord Ron. Without turning around, he calmly asks her what she wants. She gathers her courage. I've read the legends about you from the Order. Are those stories actually true? You see that too, right? Everyone loves a good backstory reveal. The whole group suddenly tunes in. What happened with you and the Sage of Holy Light, Lady Sokka, at Lake Village? Liro snaps at her. Damn it. Girls are so nosy. If you're gonna ask about the truth behind the White City massacre. Ran asks softly. The White City? Is that the slaughter people say Lord Gron committed? Sula warns him to watch his mouth. Physician Y cuts in sleep now. We'll talk tomorrow. Inwardly, he warns them not to poke at Ron's old wounds. Ron lowers his gaze. It's fine. If she's curious, I guess I can tell the story. Ron begins. Our group of 5 had just gathered back then. We passed through Lake Village, which demons had destroyed. I told them I'd handle things alone. Sokka was worried and insisted on coming along. Then, a voice echoed, Honey, we have guests, hurry up and greet them. Ron remembers the creepy moment clearly. I heard that when the demons attacked, they murdered a newlywed couple in a truly horrific way. Their grudges were so strong they turned into spirits, haunting the ruins for years. 2 distorted shadows approached. Welcome. Welcome. Their twisted faces let out a high-pitched, terrifying shriek. It's our big day. Ron gathers his power. Quiet down. He realizes something. Sokka, use your holy light to finish this. Sokka doesn't do it immediately. Lord Gron, you could crush them easily yourself. Why do you need me? Gron clicks his tongue. At least this way, they can finally find some peace in the end. She thinks for a second. I understand. She reaches out, channeling her holy light talent. Pure light erupts, washing away the darkness. In an instant, the couple returns to their beautiful, original forms. They watch the light fade over Gron's face. Sokka hesitates. Then her small hand reaches out toward him. Sokka grabs his large hand. Suddenly, Ron draws his sword with cold, lethal precision. The blade stops an inch from her face. He sheathes it. She stammers. Was I too forward? Gron orders coldly. Apologize. She's stunned. What? I said apologize. Touching me without asking makes me extremely uncomfortable. So what do you and I make of a hero who hates being touched? She bows. I'm sorry, Lord Gron. I was reckless. All right. You and I are about to see a hero who strikes purely on instinct. Trust me. It is wild. PH rolled his eyes, knowing this was exactly Gron's style. All 3 of them had the same reaction, simply legendary. The next morning at the Mud Ox ruins, she noted the terrain was complex. Charging in blindly would be a disaster. He made the call. I will infiltrate. You guys stay hidden. We strike together from both sides when the time is right. Inside the town of Mud Ox, a small demon was shouting at the top of his lungs. Anyone wanting to serve under Great King Triet Nai, enter this room right now for your mandatory entrance exam. Brown Demon was amazed, noting the king's fame brought many demons to join today. He teased the Green Demon. You are pretty capable, kid. Did you steal those slaves from the Northern War Court for our great king? He spat in disgust. Don't even mention it. That place is full of useless men fit only for labor. But the women the king wants? We just have to get lucky and snatch whoever we can find. Ron calculated his next move. These people would have to wait for the Ivet group to take them back. The Green Demon kept bragging that selling the men to the Flayed Skin Brothers would still turn a profit. Brown Demon mocked their outdated tastes. Suddenly, a demon yelled, Next, last spot in line for today. Now watch closely, because our main character is about to make a move that changes everything. In this lawless zone, plenty of demons wanted to serve Triet Ni. Clover held his head high, full of arrogance. I am your examiner, Clover. I assume you all know our strict military standards before coming here. Clover gave a mocking smirk. We only take elites. We have absolutely no use for trash. Tik Fong panicked, realizing he already made a bad impression. He decided to use this scrawny kid to look better. How did this thin, short, ugly piece of garbage even sneak in here? He thought with a nasty grin. You don't just need looks, you need a vicious temper. Hey, you. Are you really ignoring me? You want me to cut your ears off? Old Ha reported that this new batch had zero focus. Clover replied indifferently. All right, settle down. Everyone be quiet. The examination starts right now. He unrolled a cloth, ordering them to step up. His device measured talent marks and power levels. Clover explained that power levels are just a baseline, and do not show your actual combat skill. A level 5 power is strong, but level 2 or 3 fighters aren't necessarily weak. If a level 5 fool with ice talent fights a fire-type veteran at level 3, the outcome is anyone's guess. Pointing at the device, he promised a fair judgment. Relax, kid. There is no need to fear being disqualified. King Triet Ni values talent. As long as you are vicious and willing to fight, you are good material. He marveled at the result. The talent was detected by the organ. It was only level 1. Chu-sun hesitated, asking Clover if he could actually pass with such a weak score. Clover muttered in disgust about his weak power and cowardly personality before executing Chu-sun on the spot. As for the rest of you, if you feel like trash, get out and stop wasting my time. You and I saw that coming, right? This world has no mercy for anyone they call trash. Suddenly, a loud bang erupted from the wall as a favorite consort appeared. Gron watched, clearly startled. Old Ha gasped in shock. What is that? Why is the king's consort in the next room? Clover explained it was a new, empty room, so he told the guards to keep her there for now. He barked orders to the soldiers to take her back carefully without causing any injuries. The subordinates started pulling. 1, 2, heave. The consort was in so much pain she started crying. He watched with cold eyes as a red cloth suddenly appeared. The prisoner's silhouette appeared, and Gron's expression darkened instantly. Clover told everyone to ignore it and continue. Clover pointed lazily, telling the next person to hurry up because he had a busy schedule. Tich Fong made excuses about his stomach to go to the bathroom first, but Gron shoved him aside. I am cutting in. I am busy too, Gron said coldly. I want to confirm your recruitment requirements again. Clover laughed. You either have strength or malice. Got it? And that's where we leave it. You and I both know this kid is about to shock everyone. All right. You and I are about to witness an infiltration. J-Air's Tiger Wolf army won't need a tiny test like this. Thiet Fong is satisfied. He just needs to stall for time and draw their attention so he can make a clean escape. He coldly questions if this simple testing device can even measure the true extent of his current power level right now. Diep Thao snaps back in a rage, telling him to shut up and just start the damn test already before he loses patience. Are you strong enough? Diep Thao scowls, offended that a rookie would question his authority as a 3-seal examiner here. Keep stalling, and I promise your death will be anything but quick or painless. Now, move it and give me your hand. The moment he reaches out, Gron strikes with lightning speed, his blade slicing through the air like a lethal phantom. His hand grips the glowing orb. Diep Thao can only stutter in shock as Gron's eyes turn cold as ice. Watch closely here. This is the exact moment our main character stops pretending and shows his true, dangerous side. The crowd watches in absolute terror. He sets the orb back down casually, remarking that the machine is actually not bad. Did I pass? Old He stammers out a terrified yes. Extremely qualified. He screams to the surrounding guards. All qualified recruits are ordered to the headquarters. No one leaves. Stay on high alert and wait for orders. Gron enters silently. A flashback reveals a secret communication scroll that copies text in real time between him and Ran. Master Gron, if you write on the main scroll, my copy will show the content to me in real time. A talent that copies items in real time? They can communicate secretly behind enemy lines. Stay hidden in the market while I use this to stay in contact. He instructs. He writes, I have entered Mudok's town. Outside the town, in a hidden cave, the rest of the team waits anxiously for any sign of life from him. He shouts in excitement. A message from Master Gron. He has successfully entered the town. The plan is moving to phase 2. The scroll details the mission. Observe Zaire, find a way to isolate him, and then prepare for the final kill. Thiet Sun frowns, looking for the standout recruit. Where is the kid who performed so well during the test? King Zaire wants to see him. Old He leads the way, trembling as he approaches Gron's quiet room. Did you search him yet? Old He stammers that he did not even dare to breathe near the guy. Thiet Sun roars for him to stand. Gron complies casually, letting them search for weapons. Nothing suspicious is found. Follow me, rookie. The king wants to see you. Gron nods calmly, ready to step into the lion's den. 1 minute earlier, Gron was using healing magic on his arm. The wound closes just as the bells ring out. Thiet Sun announces their arrival. Great King Zaire, I have brought the talented recruit you asked to see. The king dismisses him with a wave. Thiet Sun bows and leaves immediately, not wanting to stay a second longer. Gron wonders why the man uses his own arm as an instrument. The atmosphere in the dark room is suffocating. A melody drifts through the darkness. A piano? The player's face is a mask of pure, unbridled savagery. You and I can feel the tension. This isn't just a recital. It's a battle of wills in the dark. I play when the urge to slaughter becomes too strong, J.R. explains. Do not be nervous. This is a normal meeting. Are you curious about our army? Gron replies that he is only curious why a king suppresses his instincts. Outside, the soldiers are dragging away a bandit, mocking him for finally being caught by the great king's men. Jr claims he is trying to be a demon who does not kill. Gron can hardly believe his ears. He laughs in his face. A demon not killing? That is like a baby wanting milk. It is absolutely pathetic. We were born to kill. Trying to go against that is just asking for a knife in the back. It is the instinct the demon emperor carved into our blood. We are supreme, but I choose my own path. Jr turns the question back. That song I just played. Have you heard that human melody before? Gron keeps his face blank. I do not understand the music of humans. It means nothing to my ears. Lear. Zr strikes out in a sudden attack. When I played a wrong note, I saw you wince instantly. A child, Sina, runs in with flowers. Look, father, these match your skin perfectly. I waited for them to fall. She didn't want to pick them, so she sat and waited for them to fall naturally. He responds with a brutal slap. His voice is full of disgust. I told you not to wander around. Are you deaf? Or just stupid? Humans are harder to train than dogs. He can't even follow a simple command without failing miserably. Gron is stunned. Gina cries out, begging her father to stop hitting her. You and I need to see what's next. All right, you and I are about to see a truly cruel villain. Jeji sneers, forbidding the lowly slave from ever calling him father. Just then, Iron Mountain rushes in. A demon is approaching from the east. The legendary evil dragon is here. He throws her aside like trash. If the dragon is coming, things are about to get ugly. He tells her to get back to the basement. Tina stammers out a response, while Jeji turns his attention to Ron. He's actually quite satisfied with this new recruit. As they head to the palace, Ron trails behind Iron Mountain. He casts a cold, lingering look toward the girl. Elsewhere, Merovius is losing it. Where did the 9th princess and her group disappear to? They can't afford to lose them. Jeji reaches the top of the tower when suddenly, a strange stone appears. He picks it up, sensing pure killing intent. There is a massive power surge coming from the town bell. Jeji hurls the rock back in retaliation. Merovius dodges gracefully, as the sky begins to fade into darkness. Looking up, Ron vows to reclaim his stolen power. Meanwhile, the soldiers cheer as the dragon retreats. Jeji warns them not to relax. He orders the sentries to turn up the intensity of the light barriers. From the platform, a subordinate screams at the guards to stay focused and keep their eyes open. Ron silently observes. The military structure and communication here are surprisingly solid. His snake form watches every move. A demon cries out in pain. Something just stabbed his foot. Another guard realizes he's been hit by the same thorns. Ron analyzes the subtle energy release. It is so refined that it enters their bodies without anyone even noticing. These poor fools are leaving a trail of evidence without even realizing it. Now, pay attention. This is where Ron shows us his tactical side. He knows Jeji is too smart for simple patrols and must have complex routes hidden everywhere. He decides to watch a bit longer. Mapping every path is the only way to ensure their future destruction. Walking away, Ron pauses to pick up a single flower and examines it closely. Nearby, Sina sits with her head down, clutching a wreath. She hears a sound and nervously asks who is there. He offers her the flowers he found. She's so excited that she practically runs out to meet him. Sina beams as she opens the door. She thinks her first attempt wasn't pretty enough for her father. Ron is stunned. The door isn't even locked. He can't help but ask why she calls a man like Jeji her father. She smiles, saying he's the kindest person she's ever met. She heard only parents treat their children this well. He even gave her a collar to keep her safe from kidnappers. To her, it's a sign of protection. He saves food for her and only hits her a little when she makes mistakes. Ron is absolutely speechless. Let that sink in for a second. Her idea of kindness is terrifying. He asks what kind of monsters she lived with before. She can't remember much, only that everything was bad. We see a flashback of her being handed over to Jeji. The order was simple: take care of her and return her later. Jeji bows to Lord Onya, accepting the task. Sina says he's always been good to her, but she constantly makes him worry. She feels guilty. Ron feels a surge of pity. This poor girl doesn't even realize she is being treated like a dog. But he still wonders, doesn't she want to leave Jeji for a while and explore the world outside? There are good people out there, friends, and so many fun things to do. Sina looks up in wonder. He realizes she needs a real teacher and a friend to help fix her twisted view of reality so she can finally grow up healthy. Who among his allies would be the right fit? This is a choice he needs to consider very carefully. She laughs suddenly. She asks if he knows the name of this flower. It's a knot flower, right? She thinks he's so smart. Her father never lets her go out or make any friends of her own. She begs him for stories about the outside world. Ron looks toward the exit, his mind racing. His priority is scouting Jeji. He can't afford to waste time here, so he prepares to leave. Maybe next time, he says. He hasn't thought of any good stories yet. Sina quickly agrees. She waves goodbye, asking him to visit again. But then, she realizes her leash has come loose. Panic sets in. Her father will be furious if he sees this. She quickly grabs the rope and tightens it back around her own neck. Meanwhile, Merovius reports back. The 9th princess has fled to the area near the town. That's Jeji's territory. It's too dangerous for him to get any closer than that. Onia sighs. He'll deal with Jeji himself. That abyssal walker talent is a headache. And that's where we leave it, trust me. You and I are about to see this war explode. Alright, you and I are about to watch a power play that defies logic. Trietni pours wine, staying on alert. He forms a thin layer of pressure around his body to detect any hidden fluctuations. Sensing something nearby, Ron watches with cold indifference, hiding his presence, until a voice suddenly rings out, telling someone to stop hiding. Ron's snake form freezes in place. Trietni turns away from a puddle just as Simon emerges with a mocking sneer. He calls Trietni the leader of this ugly demon race as he sits back with pure arrogance. A lone human entering a lion's den like this takes guts, but he bets Simon isn't here just for a lecture. The old man snorts, claiming he and the evil dragon are only here to find someone specific. They have no interest in Trietni, so they should both just stay out of each other's way. Trietni snaps back, hating how this old man breaks into his house and makes demands with a murderous tone. Simon explodes in rage, shouting that at this distance, he could take down a brute like him in under 60 seconds. Suddenly, the voice of Matthias cuts through the tension, telling Lord Simon that he is being way too noisy. The old man immediately begs his boss for help in clearing this annoying obstacle, making Trietni curious. Wait, is this an ancient treasure from the Old Republic? A magic lamp with the power to travel through space. Simon starts acting smug, but Trietni just shrugs, mentioning that he happens to have one of those too. The old man lets out a terrified scream the moment he sees it. What? No way. Matthias sighs, telling them to stop fighting since they are both on the same side now. Pay attention, because things are about to get complicated. He coldly introduces Trietni as the loyal subordinate who helped him gather his army and his allies. Simon is also a top-tier asset who helped capture the hostage, so they should treat each other as friends. Ron instantly realizes that Matthias is the one behind the princess kidnapping and the entire operation. The situation is spiraling out of control as Matthias compares them to a rook and a bishop on his board. He grabs their hands, stating his grand game can only continue if everyone stays in their assigned positions. Simon is thrilled by the praise, claiming that with Matthias leading, they will soon overthrow the traitors and restore the bloodline. Matthias nods slowly in agreement. That is exactly the plan. Then, he asks about the 4 assassins, and Trietni reports the sightings of the giant woman and the demons. Even though he pushed them back before, he was cautious and decided not to chase them down. Instead, he put a bounty on their heads with local gangs to make sure they were eliminated for good. Matthias doesn't even hesitate, telling him to cancel the bounty because those assassins are no longer a concern. Trietni hesitates, but Matthias suddenly starts patting his head like a pet, telling him to just be a good boy. He mentions that Trietni was well trained by his previous owner, which is why he bought him and his magic toys. Trietni's hand trembles with suppressed rage. I know what you are thinking, this guy is a total monster. He says he understands, but begs Matthias not to forget his promise to finally grant him his freedom. Matthias mentions freedom while wondering where these artifacts even came from. Then, his gaze turns deadly. If he crushes this half, the piece inside Trietni's head will shatter, blowing him into a million pieces. Don't you worry. When I finally win this game, I will give your half back to you. You will be completely free at last. And just the thought of that probably makes you want to jump for joy, right? Enough talk. It is time to get back to the mission at hand. He tells Simon to be ready, then reminds Trietni that he brought some new women to his palace. Trietni takes the lamp and obeys, while Simon immediately demands a guest room, since he is tired of sleeping outside. He tells him he will have his subordinates arrange it, and surprisingly, Trietni does not refuse. Ron sees his chance and decides he needs to follow Trietni to see what happens next. His body moves gracefully as he stalks them, hiding behind a wall to watch Trietni standing before his concubines. Matthias asks if she is ready to give birth, and Trietni confirms that a glowing red sphere is forming. The egg starts twitching and shifting its shape until a hand suddenly bursts through the shell, and a creature crawls out. A creature named Solomos begs for orders while surrounded by dozens of identical, pulsing eggs. Matthias laughs, praising the result. He is the one who developed this insane method of creation. These hybrid demons mature in seconds and follow orders without the usual bloodlust. And trust me, you and I just witnessed a nightmare come to life. All right. You and I are about to witness someone born with the power to spawn an entire army. Strange creatures cry out for orders as Solomos, while Matthias watches with a cold, judging eye. Train these things well. Because once I need them, I will use this lamp to summon them instantly. Tell me about the demon birth process. Keep it brief and get straight to the point. Trietni, report. By the direct decree of Emperor Solomos, Lord Matthias is your commander, and I am your deputy. The creatures shout in unison. They all roar back together. Understood? 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 He calmly orders Trietni to destroy those failures himself, while remarking that he thinks demons actually possess a real talent for art, like raw stones waiting for a master artist's vision, to mold them into something truly beautiful, unique, and powerful. He coldly snaps back that he does not understand art at all. Now, we move to the Velvet Hill Estate, the land of Lord Matthias. Matthias laughs at his lack of taste. Outside the gates, a crowd begins to gather. Clara is amazed that orphans like them were chosen to serve a lord from the old dynasty, while Nora clenches her fists. Right, sister. We finally have a home and won't go hungry. But Emma just sighs in annoyance. He is probably just some ugly, smelly old pervert. Why else would he want us? We are outcasts, so if we die, nobody cares. We just have to endure it and serve this man regardless. Matthias greets them with a gentle smile. The girls instantly blush, wondering where this handsome man came from. Clara stammers, asking if he is really Lord Matthias of the First Oz dynasty who invited them. He confirms it with a smile. Looking at him, she can't help but admire the incredible elegance of an old-world noble. She squeals about how handsome he is. Emma agrees. He is nothing like the new generation of nobles. Those guys only know how to fight. But this man, he is refined and incredibly good-looking. Nora steps forward, full of gratitude. Her eyes sparkle as she practically offers herself up to him. My lord, I am very good at serving others. Please, let me be your own personal maid. He smiles gently. Now pay attention, as he tells them to all stand close together. The girls look shy and excited, but suddenly, a terrifying invisible force begins to pull and deform their bodies into something unrecognizable. He activates his flesh art talent, merging the girls into a single, twisted masterpiece for his collection. Matthias pulls out his lamp and sucks the new creature inside, sending it straight to another dimension. Take care of this new lady and don't be cold to her. That is enough for today. I have a ball to attend. He replies that he will put the magic lamp away so it does not bother the Lord anymore. The gates open and Gron watches from the shadows. He tries to use his healing magic, but the power has no effect. His healing magic is useless. He cannot return them to their normal forms or even separate them to treat them individually. That man's twisted talent has fused them forever into a single, terrifying, and living entity. Gron watches as Trietni cruelly throws Sina down. You and I need to see this. He demands to see the numbers on her neck. She naively complies, while he warns her to keep those digits a secret, especially from Matthias. He is a bad man who will take you away from here. Sina says she understands, leaving him lost in his own dark thoughts. I didn't think anyone else possessed the Mountain of Corpses power, but here she is, right in front of me. He sighs in frustration, getting more and more angry the more he thinks about it. I nearly died for my own freedom. Yet here you are with all this massive power, and you choose to stay. She places a flower crown on his head, smiling as she says she'd rather see his happy face than be free. His expression stays cold. He snaps at her to stop talking and get to work. Stop talking nonsense and get to work cleaning up this trash, so you can raise the level of your power. She agrees and rushes forward, smashing the strange eggs with her bare fists. Mysterious numbers glow on Sina's neck as Gron watches everything unfold from the shadows. She activates her Happy Day power, and a massive wave of black mist explodes from her body. His eyes flash with killing intent, realizing this power is actually a dark parasite. Trust me, you and I will definitely want to see where this goes. All right, you and I are diving into a world where the Black Mask feeds on slaughter and death to grow inside us. Everything is just waiting for the day it finally breaks free from the cocoon. Being born into this world is a blessing, but only celestial energy can suppress this curse. Sina cries out, Father, Father, save me. While Trietni stays cold, Bannon warned that they must drive that object into the back to force the infection into retreat. The demon eye spreads as he grips the spike and stabs it into Sa. The dark energy begins to vanish, leaving only a few weak sparks. Gron watches with disgust as Sina hardens and escapes. He knows Triet Nai and Sina have officially joined their dark forces together. Our chances of winning are almost zero, let alone getting that stolen arm back from the enemy. We have to free her from Triet Ni. A mysterious voice asks if I want her power or her life. My face darkens as I tell him that I just don't want her repeating the same mistakes I made. Fa Wai spots a clue. A powerful warrior is always by Triet Ni's side, protecting him from any harm. We must strike when they are separated, but that will take some time. She hands the scroll to, yet with thanks. Now here's something you and I should consider. Everyone came here just to take Gron's arm, right? She admits it openly. If they cannot stand against the demon race and restore humanity, they simply have no right to call themselves children of the king. That was the very first requirement their father ever set for them. She slowly writes on a paper, refusing to let them leave empty-handed. She will record every bit of help they gave to her and Gron, so that Hao Nya can reward them properly later. Yvette smiles while accepting the paper with thanks. We'll take it then. She replies, it's a small thing, as Ran watches the queen excitedly. Now Prince Hao Nya will surely value you. Sora shouts about the huge amount of reward money they'll likely get. So much money. I want to buy my parents a giant house with all of it. My career is about to soar, but I'm really not built for fighting on the front lines. I'll focus on politics to become a count. Fa Wai just smiles and warns him not to be unlucky. You and I know the rule. Anyone who talks about their plans after the war is usually as good as dead. She and Yvette laugh at their fear while Matthias calmly plays a game of chess. Let's see how the game is progressing. His massive army is already hidden deep within the shadows of Ninagu town. Matthias toys with his hostage, the 9th princess named Yvette. Simong is a useless man who cannot achieve much, but with the evil dragon's help, capturing her is only a matter of time. Ben is the one who sold him the severed arms of both Triet Ni and Gron. Now he's vanished without a trace, leaving only one person left for me to rely on. At the ruins 1 year ago, Simon follows Matthias and asks, Old man, is that eternal demon king really going to show up here to meet with us? He reassures him that contact has already been made through a letter. The handwriting was elegant and refined. I believe a cultured man like him wouldn't break a promise so easily, don't you? A ball rolls to his feet. Tu sits in a wheelchair and asks, Excuse me, could you kick that ball back to me? Matthias smiles as he reaches down to pick it up, straight to the point. Half of Gron's body is beyond healing, but my hidden talent is the only thing that can help you attach a new limb. Matthias signals Simon to stay alert. This man isn't alone. We must run the moment anything feels out of place. He steps forward with a grin. The secret gift I have prepared for you is Gron's severed left arm. It's a perfect match for your needs. But Tu refuses coldly, calling it a strictly personal grudge. Matthias stays silent for a moment, before smiling and handing the ball back to the man. I will help you find other suitable limbs instead. I just hope that as the great eternal demon king, you can help me when I need it. Matthias toys with the chess piece representing Hao Nya. I really must thank you for your temporary mercy 20 years ago. You chose not to wipe out all the old officials like us. Hao Nya holds his head in frustration. Enough. Don't let any more people die for this. I'll grant titles to the remaining nobles and let you keep a portion of your original lands and territory. He kicks the piece. This game has already started, and you don't get to stop it just because you're tired. Sina cheers when I arrive, but Gron looks serious. Trust me, you and I are about to see things get even wilder. All right, you and I are diving into a memory that changes everything. Sina asks, did you think of it yet? What is it like out there? Gron sits down slowly. Do you know about White Dew City? He asks her softly. She heard stories of a rich, thriving city, a place where the streets were paved entirely with white stone. Pure luxury. He falls silent, lost in thought. Ron speaks up. I just remembered a story about someone very special. Maybe you and he are similar. 33 years ago, in White Dew City, the rain was pouring down hard. He remembers the rain most. Nothing special about it. Just that autumn in this city meant endless, heavy downpours. In this massive, rain-soaked city, a poor slum sat right across from a towering, majestic castle. Born in autumn, he remembers his mother, Elsa, dyeing cloth. In his memories, her hands were always stained deep purple. Young Gron watched the rain while his father worked near the fire, constantly coughing from the thick, heavy smoke. Neighbors whispered, Is their kid 5 or 6 now? Still no work? They always had something to say. They called him a mute, a burden. Ma-en snapped back, saying he is not mute, just a bit slow to speak. Fine, not mute then. Nearby, Others complained about the rising costs of firewood and water taxes this year. Taxes keep rising, and now there is even a new fee for military rations. Rumor says the Million Kingdom is beefing up the border to stop the peasant uprisings from the eastern neighbors. Can we even survive this year? Elsa asks. Ma and replies, we just have to take it one step at a time. Hearing a noise, Gron turns happily. He runs over and excitedly hugs his father's legs. They smile at him. Ma Ann hands over some coins. Go buy the cheapest bread, the kind we usually eat. Outside, whispers grow louder. Did you hear? Aya is in total chaos right now. Tens of thousands of peasants are rising up. Maybe over 100,000. Their leader? A chef named Hao Nya. Running home with the bread, Gron stops. He sees a boy throwing a ball against a wall alone. Father is too busy to notice I am gone. The two boys just stare at each other in silence. Gron approaches Victor. His stomach growls loudly. Victor thinks, what does this brat want? He is so annoying. Gron smiles and offers a piece of bread. In the rain, he shares his only meal. Victor takes it, confused. He watches Gron disappear into a narrow alleyway, wondering who he was. Bruno and Marco block the way. Hand over the money, kid. Suddenly, a voice shouts out, you two thieves, how dare you bully the weak in front of me? Victor stands his ground. Marco laughs. A rich kid? Buy one get one free? Bruno adds, in the slums, the strong eat the weak. You walked right into this, kid. Victor replies coldly. The strong prey on the weak? Is that it? You are talking about nothing but mindless, savage animal instincts. That is pathetic. My father taught me the strong protect the weak. Pay attention, this is where a true leader's heart awakens. Shut up with that nonsense. They pull their knives. Suddenly, Victor activates a massive surge of power. I won't forgive monsters like you. Talent awakening the King of Kings. They stand frozen in terror. Bruno and Marco run for their lives. Gron watches in awe. Victor helps him up. No need to kneel. Protecting people like you is my duty. He smiles. Besides, I should thank you. The rain never stops. They sit together, sharing the bread. That is how Victor and Gron's bond truly began. Seasons pass, and they become inseparable. We can see it, this is a friendship built to last forever. Slow down, mute kid. Where are you taking me? Why the rush? They reach a crowd watching an execution. They climb the wall. Honestly, I hate crowds. I would much rather be in a library reading classics. Victor looks where Gron is pointing. A man is standing there with a rope around his neck, a thief sentenced to die by hanging. He struggles, gasping for air, as the life drains out of him. The man's eyes bulge in agony. Gron watches closely, but Victor covers his mouth in pure horror. He vomits violently. Afterwards, Victor warns him, I am never coming back here. You should not watch this either. These laws are too cruel. If I ever get the chance, I will change this broken system. Under the gloomy rain, a ball hits the wall. A hand catches it instantly. The city feels heavy with change. Victor waves goodbye. Time for dinner. Stick with me, the real story is just getting started. Let's play again tomorrow. You and I are stepping into a city drowning in dark rumors about merchants secretly plotting with the Anya peasant rebels. Chaos is brewing in White Dew. I bet the top officials get arrested today. The executioner is going to be very busy. Leon bows as the young master returns. Young master, you are back. Your father is waiting for you in the study. A deep, heavy voice rings out. Lately, you have been neglecting your studies. Enzo warns him with a stern expression. You are my son, and the future High Judge of White Dew. Stop wasting your days playing with those bad influences. He stands tall directly in front of Victor, his shadow looming large. You have 1 week to memorize Volume 3 of the Mediland Laws. Don't leave this house until you are finished. Victor bows. Yes, father. Enzo then gives a final order. Prepare the carriage. The Council of Nobles has summoned me for an urgent meeting. Leon obeys immediately. A ball bounces through the air as Gron plays with it. Suddenly, Roman trips him. Out of the way, you filthy commoner. Gron falls hard onto the ground. He reaches desperately for his ball before looking up at Ma'an in shock. They try to explain. There has been a mistake, officers. We don't even know who these foreign rebels are. The guard explains. The pottery and dye shops where you worked have been selling goods to the Anya rebels. If you are truly innocent, the High Judge will clear your names. The parents cry out, but the soldiers immediately drag them away. Gron watches helplessly as they are taken. Meanwhile, the nobles are debating. This must be handled strictly and quickly. Now pay attention here, because this is where the noble class shows its true, ugly face. They despise those who collude with rebels. This is worse than arson or murder. The public has been crying for justice lately. We cannot ignore their voices. We should use this chance to make an example of them. Let them learn there is no room for mercy here. Better to kill 1,000 innocent people than let a single traitor escape. High Judge, what do you think? Enzo sighs. Over 100 are arrested. This is a serious matter that requires careful review. Executing every single one of them might be seen as too cruel. The room suddenly falls into a heavy, oppressive silence. He hesitates, but Enzo looks up with a cold gaze. We cannot allow the flames of a foreign rebellion to ignite among our own people. That only leads to total chaos and drags more people into a bloody war. We choose the lesser of two evils. Suddenly, we are at the execution grounds. Gron runs frantically toward the gallows. Elsa and Ma have already been hanged, their eyes rolling back. He kneels to support their weight. Gron grits his teeth, holding their legs up so they can breathe. Dante steps forward to stop the boy, but Roman blocks him. You saw that too, right? These guards are literally betting on a child's suffering. Nico laughs, wondering how long the little brat can last. On such a gloomy, rainy day, it is rare to find a bit of entertainment like this, he says with a smirk. The other guard reluctantly agrees. Fine, Captain, but if the higher-ups find out about this, I am not taking the blame. Nico says excitedly. Half a day. I bet he lasts half a day. Roman replies. I would say 2 hours at most. Back at the manor, Victor is busy studying. He looks out the window as the rain gets heavier. Leon follows him, worried. The master said, you cannot go out until you finish, Leon reminds him. But Victor opens the door. I have to see what is happening. I feel like something terrible is going to happen today. He finds Enzo blocking the path. There is nothing for you to see out there, Enzo explains coldly. It is just a heavy autumn rain. It rains a lot in White Dew this time of year. Outside, a long row of corpses hangs in the rain. Gron is still shaking, standing on his tiptoes to keep his parents alive, Elsa and Ma, and look down through the pane. Son, please let go. Don't worry about us anymore. You don't have to suffer like this. They beg him to let go, but Gron refuses. His legs are shaking violently now, his strength slowly fading away. He tries one last time to stand tall, but his muscles finally give out, and Gron collapses onto the wet ground. He looks up in pure horror, watching helplessly as Elsa and Ma take their very last breaths. Nico walks over, annoyed. What a useless brat, he mocks. If you stayed up 10 more minutes, I would have won my money. Nico reaches down to grab him. All right, get lost. Suddenly, Gron grabs his hand with a death grip. Nico looks down in disgust. You mute trash, get your filthy hands off me, he screams in rage. But suddenly, Gron sinks his teeth deep into Nico's throat. Die. The other guards stand frozen as blood sprays everywhere. Then, they finally snap out of it. Kill that little monster. Gron pulls a sword from the dying guard and charges, but he is quickly overpowered and kicked back into the mud. He slides across the ground to his parents' feet, his mouth covered in blood. The archers raise their bows and aim. Gron grits his teeth in fury. He scrambles up and sprints away. Even with arrows hitting his back and leg, he keeps running forward. The guards scramble to search the area. Damn it, he escaped. Find him, trust me. You and I just saw the start of something epic. All right, you and I are diving into a dark city drowned in rain, where Gron stumbles toward his fate. He is surrounded by starving, skeletal people. One old man collapses into the mud, crying out for someone to finally set his soul free. Gron stares blankly until a chilling voice echoes in his mind. A set of ghostly teeth begins whispering, urging him to grant the man's wish. It mimics his friend's words about helping the weak, claiming they need the energy that only comes from killing and death. Terrified, Gron asks what it is. The entity grabs his hand, claiming to be his companion through every glory and every crushing failure. I am the light that will guide you toward your true destiny. It claims to be the version of himself he was always meant to be. As Gron's hands tighten around the old man's throat, the voice mocks his weak resistance. Watch closely. The voice reminds him that it has no physical power. Every dark action is born from Gron's own hidden desires. He struggles to clear his head, desperately denying these dark, murderous thoughts. The manipulation continues. It asks if he wants to remain a dependent loser like his parents for his whole life. It tells him he is superior to these commoners, born to rule rather than be ruled. Gron wonders if he truly was born this way. The thing confirms it. He is a literal storm, destined to sweep across the entire world. You and I can see his eyes turning blood red as the voice pushes him to destroy everything he hates. Still hesitating? Reach out and grab that power. The soldiers keep searching, barking orders for everyone to move faster. This is a dumping ground for the infected poor souls living a life worse than death itself. Afraid of the plague, Roman spots a body and draws his sword, stepping cautiously into the dark. His eyes bulge in terror at the mountain of corpses before him. What the hell happened here? And trust me, we are leaving it here, with Gron looming right behind him.